Chapter 779, -368, Returning to the Red Flame Immortal King Relic. The Immortal Flame Emperor Bell was a cultivation treasure, and he needed to refine it before he could use it. Before it was refined, it couldn't be used, and since taking out an innate treasure typically wasn't a subtle affair, he didn't bother taking it out inside the White Jade skyship, in case the Leaving Fire sect ancestor noticed it and grew greedy, which would only complicate matters. After all, the Leaving Fire sect ancestor was an immortal venerable peak powerhouse, and Lu Yi felt it was still necessary to show some respect. He planned to refine it once he returned to Ling Luo Peak. The Nine Heavens Tribulation Fire of the Origin Immortal skill was something he could contemplate, but he still planned to use the reward he got from his Fire Origin understanding first. Just like laws, the mastery of Origin power also varied in degrees. The mastery Lu Yi had over the Fire Origin was achieved through the Sunburning Starfall technique, a cultivation technique of the Immortal King realm, which of course had its limits. His comprehension of Fire Origin wasn't particularly profound either. If he could deepen his understanding of Fire Origin, it would give him more confidence when he faced the Leaving Fire sect ancestor. With that thought, Lu Yi began using the reward to enhance his comprehension. Mysterious origin Tao patterns constantly appeared in Lu Yi's mind, bringing him knowledge he had never realized or noticed before. He absorbed various types of information voraciously, and his mastery over Fire Origin improved rapidly. Time passed, and Lu Yi remained in closed-door cultivation, while Liu Ningxuang and others were also cultivating. After the Leaving Fire sect ancestor entered his room, he did not come out again. The White Jade skyship, following the course Lu Yi had set, shuttled through the void, speeding towards the sky-falling star domain. When the White Jade skyship entered the Rashomon star domain, Lu Yi reserved a portion of his attention to avoid conflicts with any powerful members of the Rashomon clan. Last time they traveled through space, they had encountered cultivators from the Rashomon clan, and it could happen again. Fortunately, this time Lu Yi and his company were not unlucky. The journey was very calm, and they quickly passed through the Rashomon star domain and returned to the sky-falling star domain. Only after returning to the sky-falling star domain did Lu Yi end his closed-door cultivation. Liu Ningxuang and the others also ended their cultivation, and the group gathered in the suite's main hall. The Ling Luo Peak Master glanced outside the room door and said, "Kid, we're back. Should we notify the ancestor? If the Leaving Fire sect ancestor acts rashly, can you handle it alone?" Lu Yi thought about it. Although his mastery over Fire Origin had improved a lot, and handling the Leaving Fire sect ancestor would be somewhat easier, it would definitely be safer with the Yu family ancestor present. Moreover, the Yu family was a top power in the sky-falling star domain, and with an immortal venerable peak powerhouse arriving, it was only proper to notify the Yu family ancestor. Thinking this, Lu Yi said, "Let's notify him. It would be best if the ancestor could come. If not, I can hold off the Leaving Fire sect ancestor, but I might not be able to prevent his escape." Hearing this, the Ling Luo Peak Master looked dumbfounded. Defending against an immortal venerable peak with a golden immortal realm was already outrageous enough, and yet this kid seemed somewhat unsatisfied. If he didn't know Lu Yi better, the Ling Luo Peak Master would have thought he was bragging. "All right, I'll notify the ancestor now." Now that they were back in the sky-falling star domain, the Ling Luo Peak Master could use a unique sound transmission talisman of the Yu family to communicate with them. After notifying the Yu family, the Ling Luo Peak Master said, "Father will inform the ancestor right away. Are we heading to Red Star now?" Lu Yi nodded. "Yes, let's go now. After all, the Leaving Fire sect ancestor is a clan member of that immortal king predecessor who was kind to me. I shouldn't be obstructive in this matter." The Ling Luo Peak Master nodded slightly. "All right, we need to be cautious then." "Yes." Lu Yi piloted the White Jade skyship towards Red Star. With the speed of the White Jade skyship, it wasn't long before they neared the Red Star system. Lu Yi then felt the presence of the Leaving Fire sect ancestor and left his room. With a meaningful look to Liu Ningxuang and the others, they also came out of their rooms. In the main hall of the White Jade skyship, the Leaving Fire sect ancestor was watching out the window, his wrinkle-laden, aged face showing an inexplicable excitement. Seeing Lu Yi approach, he smiled and said, "Young friend, I have felt it. I have sensed the aura of the Red Clan." Lu Yi raised an eyebrow. unsure whether the leaving fire sect ancestor had sensed the aura of the inheritance or that of the Red Clan itself. He simply smiled and said, "Predecessor, we are almost there." I know. The leaving fire sect ancestor looked very expectant, somewhat excited. The white jade skyship had already left the void, turning into a streak of light in the profound vacuum, speeding towards Red Star at great speed. Before long, Red Star appeared in their vision. Looking at the profound Red Star, the leaving fire sect ancestor bore a slight delighted expression. This environment, it's very similar to the Red Flame clan back in the day. Was the territory of the Red Flame clan also this hot originally? Haha, after our immortal ancestor advanced to the Immortal King realm, the bloodline of our entire clan was sublimated, becoming closer to the Fire Tao. To provide us with a better cultivation environment, the immortal ancestor used great power to construct our territory, which was filled with rich fire spiritual energy, naturally making it extremely hot. The leaving fire sect ancestor recounted the old times, pride evident in his eyes. Listening to the leaving fire sect ancestor's story, Lu Yi couldn't help but exclaim, "Just hearing it, I can sense the strength of the Red Flame clan back then." Chapter 780, 368, Returning to the Red Flame Immortal King Relic 2. Chapter 780-368, Returning to the Red Flame Immortal King Relic /2. However, Lu Yi hadn't anticipated that, after his breakthrough to the Immortal King realm, it would actually elevate the bloodline of his entire clan, truly worthy of the title Immortal King. The elder from the leaving fire sect, perhaps because they were approaching the Red Star, became somewhat more talkative. He nodded slightly, expressing a sense of sorrow. The Red Flame clan was indeed a great clan in that era. Back then, cultivators in the Immortal King realm were among the few strongest in the entire universe, only below those few immortal emperors. At this point, the elder from the leaving fire sect looked at the Red Star with a trace of sadness in his eyes, seemingly reminiscing something. It is a pity. The Red Flame clan rose because of an immortal ancestor, and their power was founded on the strength of that immortal ancestor. When the Immortal King-level immortal ancestor entered Jiyu in that battle and never returned, the Red Flame clan was no longer powerful, even. The gaze of the elder from the leaving fire sect grew a bit darker, and he didn't say much more. Lu Yi glanced at the elder from the leaving fire sect, understanding that he probably held some secrets. However, since the two were not well acquainted, Lu Yi would not ask further. Probing into someone else's secrets could easily offend the elder from the leaving fire sect. As they were talking, the white jade skyship had already neared the Red Star. Lu Yi, with a thought, brought the white jade skyship to a halt above the Red Star. He looked towards the somewhat expectant elder from the leaving fire sect and spoke. "Elder, this Red Star is inhabited by a race that developed from the origin aura that drifted from the heritage world of the Red Flame Immortal King in the past. They now follow me, training within the world of the Red Flame Immortal King's heritage. I hope the elder won't mind." Upon hearing this, the elder from the leaving fire sect slightly furrowed his brows. He opened his mouth but ultimately didn't say anything. He simply nodded. "I understand. I would like to first meet the residual shadow of the immortal ancestor." "Of course, no problem," Lu Yi smiled. "Please, elder." The group left the white jade skyship. After Lu Yi stored away the white jade skyship, they all flew towards the Red Star. Round the Red Star was a defense array set up by Lu Yi. As the group approached, mysterious array patterns emerged and the elder from the leaving fire sect glanced at them, his eyes flashing with a serious hue. He exclaimed in astonishment, "Which great power of the array Tao set up this great array? It is so powerful. Even for me, entering would take some time." Upon hearing this, Liu Ningxuang and the others had a slightly strange expression and glanced at Lu Yi. The elder from the leaving fire sect noticed the odd expressions on Liu Ningxuang and the others, and suddenly remembered how Lu Yi had effortlessly passed through the broken Immortal King defense array. His expression changed slightly and he looked at Lu Yi. "This great array, could it be that you are unaware of it?" Lu Yi smiled lightly. "Indeed, it is a humble work of mine." The elder from the leaving fire sect's aged face twitched slightly, and he sighed lightly. "Truly, the younger generation is to be feared." "You flatter me, elder." Lu Yi smiled and controlled the array to open an entrance, allowing everyone to go inside. As soon as they entered, several auras quickly soared into the sky, belonging to the cultivators of the Red Clan. Leading them was a clan elder of the Red Clan, whose cultivation base had already reached the peak of the heavenly immortal. He had become much stronger than before, clearly having gained considerable benefits within the heritage world. Upon seeing Lu Yi, the clan elder of the Red Clan greeted respectfully. "Welcome, my lord. What brings you to Red Star?" As he spoke, the gaze of the clan elder of the Red Clan suddenly paused, his eyes turning slightly astonished as he looked at the elder from the Leaving Fire sect beside them. After all, the elder from the Leaving Fire sect, being from the Red Flame clan, looked nearly identical to the Red Clan. This clan elder of the Red Clan was now somewhat puzzled, as the elderly Red Clan figure before him seemed very old, yet he did not recognize him. Moreover, even with his cultivation base, he could not discern the details of this elder. Who is this person? Why has he come here with my lord? The clan elder of the Red Clan was full of questions and couldn't help but inquire. My lord, this is. Lu Yi smiled slightly. This is an immortal venerable elder who has some connection with the one in the heritage world. Strictly speaking, he also has some connection with you as well. Immortal venerable elder. The pupils of the clan elder of the Red Clan constricted, and the Red Clansmen following him were equally astonished. The immortal venerable was among the topmost powers in the entire universe. They hadn't expected one to appear here, coming along with their lord. Was their lord now walking with such an important figure? The clan elder of the Red Clan and the cultivators behind him marveled, then their feelings mixed with shock and joy. The shock stemmed from the possibility that this immortal venerable was here for their heritage world. He was connected to the residual shadow in the world. Could it be that he intended to take back the heritage world? And what brought joy was the fact that their bloodline originated from the ancestral world, and they also had a connection with this immortal venerable. It was unlikely that the immortal venerable bore any malice towards them, and there might even be benefits in store for them. This filled the cultivators of the Red Clan with anticipation. While the members of the Red Clan were observing the elder of the Leaving Fire sect, the elder of the Leaving Fire sect was also observing them. Although the elder of the Leaving Fire sect had heard Lu Yi mention the Red Clan, he had not expected them to bear such a striking resemblance. The elder of the Leaving Fire sect felt as if he were seeing the rebirth of the Red Flame clan, as if he had returned to the era when the Red Flame clan had not yet fully declined, causing his expression to appear dazed for a moment. However, he quickly collected himself, examined several cultivators of the Red Clan, and a complex expression flickered across his face. The Red Flame clan had completely declined, and unexpectedly, here was the Red Clan, also a race created by the immortal ancestor, and so similar to the Red Flame clan. Perhaps they were a continuation of the Red Flame clan. The face of the elder of the Leaving Fire sect softened, and he calmly nodded. I have come here to meet the immortal ancestor. The cultivators of the Red Clan heard the words of the elder of the Leaving Fire sect and came back to their senses. They all looked at Lu Yi with inquiry in their eyes. Lu Yi nodded. I have already agreed with the elder, don't worry, it won't affect you. Seeing that the Red Clan showed such respect to Lu Yi, the elder of the Leaving Fire sect couldn't help but frown. Although they were not the Red Flame clan, they were still a race created by the immortal ancestor, naturally noble. How could they bow so low to a human cultivator? Even though Lu Yi's talents were remarkable, and he might have a decent chance of achieving the immortal king realm in the future, he was not an immortal king right now, but merely a golden immortal. The elder of the Leaving Fire sect glanced at the members of the Red Clan, but hesitated and ultimately did not express his dissatisfaction. Having lived for so many years, the elder of the Leaving Fire sect was no longer a hot-blooded youth. Elder, let's go. Him? A group of people transformed into a stream of light and flew towards the magma sea, arriving at the palace of the Red Clan. As he entered the palace, the elder of the Leaving Fire sect felt an increasingly strong familiar aura. His aged face was filled with excitement. As a practitioner of the immortal venerable level, he even found it somewhat difficult to control the slight tremors of his body. It is the immortal ancestor, the aura of the immortal ancestor. The murky eyes of the elder of the Leaving Fire sect trembled, even showing a hint of tearfulness. He no longer allowed Lu Yi and his group to lead the way, but instead flew to the front, heading toward the direction from which the aura emanated. The cultivators of the Red Clan saw this and their expressions changed. They all looked to Lu Yi, master this elder. Lu Yi waved his hand, smiling lightly. You go on, I'll follow. Upon hearing this, The elder of the Red Clan could only nod before leading the group away. Meanwhile, Lu Yi and Liu Ningxuang, along with a few others, followed behind the elder of the Leaving Fire sect. Soon, the group arrived at the entrance to the ancestral world. The elder of the Leaving Fire sect had already plunged in. Donggong Mingyue couldn't help muttering, "He's lived so many years, yet he's so excited." Lu Yi smiled slightly. "It's understandable, after all, this elder has been dead all these years. Come on, let's follow." The group entered the small world and saw the elder of the Leaving Fire sect flying towards the Legacy Tower. Lu Yi sensed an inexplicable aura fluctuating from the tower. It was the residual shadow of the Immortal King. He also sensed the aura of his own clan. Chapter 781, 369, The Curse of the Red Flame Clan. Chapter 780, 1-369, The Curse of the Red Flame Clan. The elder of Leaving Fire sect soon arrived at the base of the high tower, where many members of the Red Clan and Yu family practitioners were searching for inheritances. At the sudden appearance of the elder from the Leaving Fire sect, they all exchanged glances, buzzing with discussion. "Is this one of your clansmen? How come I've never seen him before?" A young genius of the Yu family, who cultivated the Fire Tao, asked his friend from the Red Clan. The Red Clan practitioner shook his head in confusion. "I have lived in the Red Clan for so long, and have never seen this person before." "Ah, could it be one of your clan's reclusive old monsters? This aura, completely undetectable, must be very strong, right?" the Yu family genius asked, somewhat surprised. "Perhaps," replied the Red Clan practitioner, still somewhat at a loss. This kind of conversation was happening in various areas around the base of the tower. While the Red Clan and Yu family practitioners were busy discussing, a pale red light flickered at the top of the tower, and a residual shadow appeared. Upon seeing the residual shadow, the Red Clan and Yu family practitioners immediately adopted respectful expressions. "It's Senior Residual Shadow. Senior Residual Shadow has come out. Could it be because of this elder of the Red Clan?" Yes. Both the elder of the Leaving Fire sect and the pale red residual shadow paid no attention to the discussions below. Upon seeing the pale red residual shadow, the elder from Leaving Fire sect's body trembled and his eyes immediately moistened. His wrinkled face quivered and he said in a hoarse voice, "Immortal ancestor, is it really you?" Speaking thus, the elder of Leaving Fire sect knelt in midair and respectfully said, "Unworthy descendant of the Red Flame clan, greets the immortal ancestor." The residual shadow of the Immortal King also moved, sighed softly and said, "Rise, with so many juniors here, let us not become a laughingstock." The elder of the Leaving Fire sect stood up, his expression excited. The Immortal King residual shadow glanced at the elder of Leaving Fire sect and then turned to Lu Yi and the others who had just arrived. He smiled gratefully at Lu Yi. "Fellow friend Lu, I never imagined that you would actually find my clansmen. Thank you." Lu Yi smiled slightly. "There's no need for such courtesy, senior. You have passed down such a precious Immortal King technique to me, a great kindness indeed. This little errand is nothing by comparison." Seeing the Immortal King residual shadow, the elder of the Leaving Fire sect was reassured that everything Lu Yi had said previously was true, and his attitude towards Lu Yi improved significantly. Gratefully he said, "Fellow friend Lu's efforts were hardly trivial. Had it not been for fellow friend Lu's efforts in finding this old man, I would never have known that the immortal ancestor still had traces left in this universe. Here, this old one must thank you." Saying so, the elder of the Leaving Fire sect bowed deeply to Lu Yi. Lu Yi quickly intervened, "Senior, why offer such significant salutations?" The elder of the Leaving Fire sect, however, was adamant and said earnestly, "Seeing the immortal ancestor in my lifetime makes me feel that my life hasn't been lived in vain. This holds great significance for our Red Flame clan. You deserve this gesture of respect." Seeing how determined the elder of Leaving Fire sect was, Lu Yi no longer tried to dissuade him. After the ceremony, the pale red residual shadow finally spoke, "Let us enter the tower. I want to understand the current state of the Red Flame clan." The elder of the Leaving Fire sect nodded repeatedly. Lu Yi also followed them into the tower, arriving again at the spacious area he had visited when he first entered. The pale red residual shadow had everyone sit down at a table before turning to the elder of Leaving Fire sect. "Tell me, how fares the Red Flame clan now?" Upon hearing this, the elder from Leaving Fire sect's expression turned somewhat bitter, and he said with a dry voice, "To answer the immortal ancestor, the Red Flame clan is on the verge of extinction." Hearing this, the pale red residual shadows form fluctuated momentarily, but soon settled down again. He sighed softly and said, "To be honest, I did not expect you could have maintained our lineage until now after my departure. Tell me, why are you nearly extinct?" The elder of the leaving fire sect had an odd expression and said, "The specific situation, this old one is not clear about, as I wasn't born when our clan began to decline. I only heard about it from the elders when I was young. After the immortal ancestor entered Gu, our Red Flame clan, relying on the immortal ancestor's legacy and our own heritage, remained a top force in the universe for many years. After the immortal ancestor and other immortal kings and emperors entered Gu, the invasion from Gu was held back, and according to the elders, that period was the most stable era in the entire universe." The elder of the leaving fire sect paused, his expression shifting, and continued, "However, later on, things changed. Gu seemed to undergo an anomaly, even with a large number of Gu demons arriving in our universe from the Gu world, while the immortal ancestor and other immortal kings and emperors did not return. This once stable universe was plunged into turmoil again, and this time, in the absence of you, facing the powerful Gu demons, the major forces in the universe became even more chaotic. During this time, our Red Flame clan also suffered heavy losses. In addition to other forces eyeing the various resources and immortal king techniques we held, these forces took advantage of the chaos to loot us. It was the darkest time for our Red Flame clan." Upon hearing this, the pale red residual shadow frowned deeply, his expression somber. Liu Yi and Liu Ningxuang also frowned slightly upon hearing this. The immortal king had gone to Gu to selflessly defend against the Gu demons amidst such turmoil. It was unexpected that there would be forces targeting the Red Flame clan at such a time. Chapter 782, 369, The Curse of the Red Flame Clan 2. Chapter 782-369, The Curse of the Red Flame Clan /2. But that's also normal after all. The piece of cake that the Red Flame clan represents is too big. During this period, our Red Flame clan has lost many cultivation technique books and various heritages, and many people have died. The elders say that at that time, all the powers in the entire universe suffered heavy deaths. Faced with the Gu demons, we were almost powerless to resist. But then, one day, the Gu demons suddenly returned to the Gu world and never appeared again. And those Gu channels also underwent various changes. The space rifts were sealed, and the universe seemed to return to normal. It's just that. The elder of the leaving fire sect cast a complicated look at the pale red phantom. The pale red phantom said indifferently, "It's just that I and other immortal kings and immortal emperors didn't return from the Gu world." The elder of the leaving fire sect nodded, "Yes." The pale red phantom just nodded slightly. What happened after that? If everything were normal after the withdrawal of the Gu demons, even if the Red Flame clan suffered heavy losses and lost their heritage, as long as there was still a foundation, and by keeping a low profile for some time, we should have been able to recover, right? What disaster occurred afterward? The elder of the leaving fire sect had an even stranger expression now. He said, "I'm not too clear about it, and even the elders are not too clear about it." "What do you mean?" Both the pale red phantom and Liu Yi couldn't help but frown. After thinking for a moment, the elder of the leaving fire sect spoke. "When I was still young, an elder once said that our Red Flame clan seemed to be cursed. The chances of prodigies emerging in each generation has been lower than the previous one. Because you, immortal ancestor, broke through to the immortal king realm and elevated our clan's bloodline, the weakest members born to our clan were at least of the pseudo-immortal realm. But after the Gu demons left and the Gu channels closed, our clan even began to produce mortals." This revelation made the pale red phantom's face show shock. How is that possible? How could bloodlines that have been elevated give birth to mortals? Even Liu Yi was a bit dumbfounded. According to what the elder of the leaving fire sect said before, after the breakthrough to the immortal king realm, their clan's bloodline was supposed to have elevated and their talents greatly enhanced, so how could they have weakened? Yes, that's why we can't understand it either. The hypothesis passed down by the elders is that our clan is cursed, and it was also possible that with the immortal ancestor gone, since our clan's bloodline originated from you, it naturally reverted to its original state after your absence. However, the elder of the leaving fire sect's expression darkened as he clenched his teeth. However, not only has the bloodline weakened, but the birth rate of newborns in our clan has also decreased significantly compared to before, leading to an ever-decreasing population. Hearing this, Lu Yi began to understand to some extent. A clan's weakening talent is not the most fatal thing. It's the decreased birth rate that, generation after generation, will inevitably lead to fewer and fewer people. If the situation were stable, perhaps the population could be sustained by simply having more offspring. But in the universe, there are too many dangers and accidents. Stability is not easily maintained for long. With the population decreasing, any significant event could cause irreversible and massive losses to the entire clan. Not only did Lu Yi understand, but so did the pale red phantom, and his expression became complex for a moment. Lu Yi could somewhat understand how the pale red phantom felt. If this curse was due to the demise of the Red Flame Immortal King, it could be said that, while he led the Red Flame clan to the pinnacle, he also dragged them into hell. The atmosphere fell silent for a while, and even Liu Ningxuang and the others wore solemn expressions, without speaking. After the silence, the pale red phantom thought of something and inquired, "What about the other clans of immortal kings and immortal emperors? Have their clans been cursed as well?" The elder of the Leaving Fire sect hurriedly nodded. "Yes, some of the immortal king clans close to us, like the clan of the Fate Immortal King, have also suffered from a curse. When they practiced cultivation, they often encountered heart demons, and some even transformed into demons on the spot due to the heart demons. While we were still struggling to hold on, the people of the Fate Immortal King's clan had nearly all perished. The survivors no longer dare to practice cultivation and can only live as mortals." The Fate Immortal King, Lu Yi's pupils constricted slightly, somewhat astonished. He never expected to hear news of the Fate Immortal King here, and it was such a tragic tale. The absence of the Fate Immortal King was one thing, but his clan's situation was far more dire. The curse suffered by the Red Flame clan was nothing compared to theirs. Heart demons are an exceedingly dangerous existence for any cultivator. For those with a strong mind, it might be manageable, but for the average cultivator, heart demons can easily take advantage of weaknesses, causing the cultivator to turn into a demon. What's worse is that the heart demons can shatter the primordial spirit directly, meaning total and irreversible death. Just by practicing cultivation, one is likely to encounter heart demons. Who can withstand that? Unless one has a foundation like Lu Yi's, even heart demons are helpless against him. For normal cultivators, who can carry on with their cultivation normally when faced with a heart demon. However, why is the curse of the Fate Immortal King's clan so much more exaggerated than that of the Red Flame clan? Isn't that too outrageous? Lu Yi suddenly thought of the Abyss ruins. He wondered if it might be the Fate Immortal King's cultivation place, and if there were any cultivation technique books left behind by the Fate clan. If there were, perhaps he could learn something about the Fate clan after they were cursed, and maybe, just maybe, he could find some clues. Upon hearing the words of the elder from the Leaving Fire sect, the phantom of the Red Flame Immortal King became even more silent. His expression grew solemn. The Fate Immortal King's clan actually endures such. What about the other Immortal Kings and the Immortal Emperor clans? The elder of the Leaving Fire sect pondered for a moment before speaking. "When I was young, I heard from my elders that it seems all the clans left by immortal kings and immortal emperors have suffered curses to varying degrees. This is also why a part of our ancestors' task was triggered by your fall. I fear those who entered Jiyu and became immortal kings and emperors have all perished, and that's why their descendants are like this. Right? There's also a part of our ancestors who believe that there might have been some catastrophe in the Jiyu world, the handiwork of the Jiyu demons. After all, only the descendants of the immortal kings and emperors who entered the Jiyu world show such changes, while other clans do not. This might be the curse of the Jiyu world. I quite agree with this idea." The light red phantom frowned slightly, pondering for a moment before saying, "It might indeed be somewhat related to the Jiyu world." Lu Yi also nodded slightly in agreement. He too felt that this possibility was actually the greatest. After all, if all the clans left by the immortal kings and emperors who entered Jiyu were cursed, then it would be unlikely they were unconnected to the Jiyu world. What Lu Yi couldn't understand was, if the entire universe had already recovered, then how did the Jiyu world manage it? How could it precisely curse all the descendants of the immortal kings and emperors who entered the Jiyu world? This is like Not only do I want to wipe you out, but also your children and grandchildren. Lu Yi recalled the curses mentioned by the elder of the Leaving Fire sect and couldn't help but feel a chill in his heart. That's too cruel. Beyond that, there were several other aspects that Lu Yi found puzzling. According to the elder of the Leaving Fire sect, after immortal kings and emperors entered the Jiyu world, the universe stabilized for a while, and the Jiyu demons did not continue to invade. It seemed that during that period, immortal kings and emperors must have held off the Jiyu demons, right? But later on, the Jiyu demons suddenly broke out of the Jiyu world again. Does that mean that the immortal kings and emperors were growing weary? And after the Jiyu demons entered the universe, if normally, without the immortal kings and emperors to resist them, the universe at the time would not have been able to withstand them, right? The elder of the Leaving Fire sect also said that the situation was very bad then. But why did the Jiyu demons suddenly go back? Not only that, even the Jiyu channel was restored. Lu Yi's eyes shimmered with confusion. What exactly had happened in the Jiyu world at the time? Could it be that the immortal kings and emperors had a sudden burst of power, did something that forced the Jiyu demons to return, and even sealed the channels along the way? If that was truly the case, then the harm to the Jiyu world must have been great, but what exactly did those immortal kings and emperors do? Besides this, Lu Yi had another thought. Chapter 783-370, Lu Yi's Guess, the Curse of All Beings. Chapter 783-370, Lu Yi's Guess, the Curse of All Beings. The descendants of immortal kings and immortal emperors left in the universe were all cursed, so were other cultivators cursed as well. According to the meaning of the elder of the Leaving Fire sect, it seemed they were not. But since the disappearance of immortal kings and immortal emperors in ancient times, no cultivators above the level of immortal king have ever appeared in the entire universe. Though immortal kings and immortal emperors were rare existences in the entire universe, requiring extremely high talent and aptitude to break through, their numbers could not be plentiful. However, shouldn't there be the emergence of such a genius every few 100 million years, someone who could potentially become an immortal king? Yet from the disappearance of immortal kings and emperors to now, hasn't there been billions of years, and not even one immortal king has emerged? Is this not also some kind of curse? A curse aimed at all beings in the entire universe? Perhaps the curse that the Jiyu demons brought upon the descendants of the immortal kings and emperors dealt great harm, and while seemingly having no impact on regular cultivators, in reality, it also brought a latent curse. That is, cultivators in the entire universe are no longer able to achieve the status of immortal king or immortal emperor. That path was severed. Lu Yi felt somewhat anxious inside. Logically speaking, even if there was a genius with the chance to break through to the immortal king realm, he should try. Geniuses like this should not be few in number since ancient times. Aside from some who inherently couldn't break through, why haven't the rest become immortal kings? Lu Yi felt that there might be some secrets hidden within. He exhaled a breath of murky air and thought no further. At present, he hadn't even reached the immortal monarch realm, so the immortal king realm was still far too distant. Thinking about these things was futile. As long as he took each step well and firmly rooted himself, he would fear no challenge. The specter of the red flame immortal king, through the description given by the elder of the Leaving Fire sect, learned about the current state of the red flame clan, his expression becoming complicated for a moment before he spoke slowly. How many people are left in the entire red flame clan now? The elder of the Leaving Fire sect wore a sorrowful expression and sighed lightly. Apart from me, only 3 others are left, and all of them are old. We've tried countless methods, but we've never been able to leave any descendants. We don't even dare to die. If we do, then the Red Flame clan would truly be finished. The words of the elder from the Leaving Fire sect were despairing, and Yun Zai and others nearby couldn't help but reveal a look of pity. The Red Flame Immortal King fell silent once again before speaking. Sadly, I've lost my power and cannot help you much. However, the cultivation technique inheritance that you've lost, I can pass that on to you. If you can break through to the Immortal King realm, perhaps you can shatter this curse. The specter of the Red Flame Immortal King produced a jade scroll and floated it towards the elder of the Leaving Fire sect. The elder of the Leaving Fire sect caught it with immense joy, expressing gratitude. Thank you, immortal ancestor. With even a sliver of hope, we will exert all our strength to break through to Immortal King. "Do your best," was the reply. Suddenly, as if the elder of the leaving fire sect remembered something, his expression relaxed and he chuckled lightly. "If it had been in the past, I would have regrets at my death. But now, the Red Clan outside is really quite like us back in the day, perhaps. The Red Clan is the continuation of our Red Flame clan." Afterward, the group discussed more about the leaving fire sect and the Red Flame Immortal King. Lu Yi also inquired about some news from ancient times, involving the Jiyu as well as other immortal kings and emperors. Even the Yu family might not know these pieces of news. But the elder of the leaving fire sect, having lived long enough, had seen and heard so much throughout his lengthy lifespan that what he knew was virtually indistinguishable from history, and he understood many secrets. Because of the matter with the specter of the Red Flame Immortal King, the elder of the leaving fire sect had much more trust in Lu Yi. Although the elder felt somewhat discontent due to the Red Clan following Lu Yi, it did not affect his favorable impression of Lu Yi. In the face of Lu Yi's inquiries, he was naturally forthcoming. Lu Yi felt his gains were significant. As time progressed, and when their conversation naturally tapered off, and a brief silence fell within the red space, everyone understood that the discussion had come to an end for the day. The elder of the leaving fire sect looked at Lu Yi and earnestly requested, "Fellow friend Lu, may I stay on this red star for the next few days? I wish to spend some time with the immortal ancestor." Lu Yi nodded lightly with a light chuckle. "Of course, there's no problem. You can stay on the red star for as long as you like, elder." Lu Yi could somewhat understand. After all, he was an outsider, and the elder of the leaving fire sect likely had some words he wanted to share alone with the specter of the immortal king, including some secrets of the Red Flame clan that he probably couldn't know. To this, Lu Yi was not disappointed. What he had gained in these days was already plenty. As long as the elder of the leaving fire sect did not affect the Red clans and the Yu family's geniuses, normal cultivation and insights, he did not mind whether the elder stayed here or not. In fact, it would be even better if the elder of the leaving fire sect stayed here. After all, the elder of the leaving fire sect is a peak immortal venerable powerhouse. Being a tribesman of the Red Flame clan, he would naturally guard this hereditary relic. This was akin to having an extremely powerful bodyguard. In this way, even if other strong cultivators discovered this relic and wanted to occupy it, he wouldn't have to worry about anything. Subsequently, Lu Yi led Liu Ningxuang and the group out of the red space, leaving the elder of the leaving fire sect and the specter of the Red Flame Immortal King alone. No sooner had they flown out of the red space than a red shadow appeared before them. It was Red Butterfly. Over these years, Red Butterfly had been cultivating within this relic. Her talent was affirmed by the specter of the Red Flame Immortal King, who had granted her the inheritance of the sun-burning starfall technique. Chapter 784-370, Lu Yi's Guess, The Curse of All Beings 2. Chapter 784-370, Lu Yi's Guess, The Curse of All Beings /2. This place was already a superb cultivation spot for fire cultivators, even containing the aura of the origin, and now with the addition of an immortal king-level cultivation technique, Red Butterfly's current aura had grown much stronger than before, even reaching the profound immortal realm. This rate of cultivation progress was simply astonishing. She's almost catching up to Liu Ningxuang and the others. Lu Yi couldn't help but wonder if the Red Flame Immortal King had shown some favoritism towards Red Butterfly by giving her various heavenly materials and earthly treasures or elixirs to enhance her cultivation base. "Master, I heard of your arrival and rushed over immediately," Red Butterfly said with a face full of excitement on seeing Lu Yi. Lu Yi smiled. "This time I've brought the clansmen of Senior Red Flame Immortal King over, fulfilling the request made by Senior Red Flame Immortal King before. I've heard from others as well. It seems to be a Red Flame clan elder at the peak of the Immortal Venerate realm. It is no surprise, Master, that you could walk shoulder to shoulder with such a figure," Red Butterfly said, eyeing Lu Yi with utmost reverence. Although her cultivation base and strength had increased, Red Butterfly's adoration for Lu Yi remained unwavering, with not the slightest change. That admiring look in her eyes caused Liu Ningxuang and the others nearby to glance at each other with odd expressions on their faces. Lu Yi chuckled. "That immortal venerate peak elder from the Red Flame clan won't affect your cultivation. Just continue your training, and he should leave after some time." Red Butterfly nodded. "With Master here, I'm not worried." As the group talked and walked, They quickly exited the inheritance space. Just then, Lu Yi suddenly raised an eyebrow, sensing an extremely powerful aura rapidly approaching, and this aura felt very familiar. He wore a strange expression as he looked towards Yu Lingluo. The old ancestor has arrived. Yu Lingluo was startled, then showed a hint of surprise. The old ancestor is here. How did he arrive so quickly? I don't know, let's go and see. The group soared into the sky, and after leaving Red Flame Star, it didn't take long to see a streak of light swiftly crossing the void, drawing near. It only came to a halt upon nearing Lu Yi and the others. It was the Yu family ancestor. The Yu family ancestor, who had always greeted them with a gentle smile and an air of ease, now appeared slightly breathless. Seeing Lu Yi and his companions, he took a deep breath and with a frown he said, "You youngsters, how dare you bring an immortal venerable into the clan? If that immortal venerable were to erupt, let's not even talk about anything else, but you few would be the first to suffer." Upon receiving the news, Yu Cheng immediately left his closed-door training, forsaking even the origin power that he was comprehending and which had shown great progress. To him, the arrival of an immortal venerable peak powerhouse in the sky-falling star domain was too great of a hidden danger. And Lu Yi and his group were still nearby. Lu Yi now held an extremely important place in Yu Cheng's heart. Apart from other things, Lu Yi had done too much for the Yu family. The number of immortal king powerhouses in the Yu family had considerably increased, and even a few at the immortal monarch level, all thanks to Lu Yi's efforts. Not to mention, the Tao Tide that Lu Yi had brought made it possible for him to reach further heights. If Lu Yi were to encounter an accident because of this matter, he would regret it for the rest of his life. Therefore, he had no choice but to use the family's secret treasure to travel to Red Star at the fastest speed possible. Even for someone at the immortal venerable realm, such a pace of travel was slightly overwhelming. Naturally, he was angry, irritated that Lu Yi and the others had no sense of propriety. That was an immortal venerable realm powerhouse. As an immortal venerable himself, he knew all too well how powerful someone at the same level could be. Every cultivator who had reached that stage was a genius, each possessing their own extraordinary abilities and methods. If the opponent had malicious intentions, even with Lu Yi's exceptional talent and overwhelming combat prowess, it would likely be difficult to escape unscathed. Lu Yi and the others could naturally hear the concern in the Yu family ancestor's reprimand. The Ling Luo Peak Master said with a grin, "We apologize for worrying the old ancestor. This brat said there's nothing to worry about. He can handle that senior, otherwise, we wouldn't have dared to do this." Hearing this, the Yu family ancestor paused, then looked at Lu Yi with a rather strange expression, disbelief evident on his face. "Year, you can stop an immortal venerable. Do you know how strong an immortal venerable is?" Lu Yi smiled somewhat sheepishly. "Old ancestor, I've comprehended the fire origin." Yu Cheng. His expression suddenly became stunned, and he looked at Lu Yi with complete befuddlement. The atmosphere turned silent before Yu Cheng exclaimed in astonishment, "You've mastered origin power." When Lu Yi had visited the Yu family previously, Yu Cheng was in closed cultivation. After learning about the star map, Lu Yi left directly, so Yu Cheng was unaware that Lu Yi had mastered origin power. The news now made Yu Cheng's scalp tingle and his heart race with shock. That was origin power. He had sought it earnestly for many years but had never been able to comprehend it. If not for the Tao Tide brought by Lu Yi in the past few years, he would still be lingering outside the door. But what about Lu Yi? How long had he been cultivating? His path was a meteoric rise with breakthroughs at a rapid pace, not to mention his ascension to the golden immortal realm. And now, within the golden immortal realm, he'd actually mastered origin power. Wasn't this kid a little too monstrous? Although Yu Cheng had always known about Lu Yi's exceptional talent, a talent so high it was almost beyond his comprehension, he found he might still have underestimated the lad. Mastering origin power at the golden immortal realm, even in ancient times, there probably weren't such freaks, right? With such talent, was he not destined to become an immortal king in the future? Yu Cheng felt a surge of excitement. The Yu family had a good relationship with Lu Yi. If Lu Yi truly became an immortal king or even an immortal emperor, as long as he remembered old ties, it would be of great fortune for the Yu family and would undoubtedly bring about significant development. From his interactions with Lu Yi over the years, Yu Cheng naturally understood that Lu Yi was not one to forget past kindness. And moreover, His master was a descendant of the Yu family. Yu Cheng mused that it would be even better if the Yu family could form a marriage alliance with this young man. As Yu Cheng's thoughts drifted, Lu Yi nodded affirmatively and said, if I hadn't grasped origin power, I wouldn't dare let him come over just like this. Yu Cheng nodded slightly, his understanding dawning on him as he chuckled lightly. You little fellow have mastered the fire origin, and it so happens that the leaving fire sect ancestor practices the fire Tao as well. It's no wonder he fell into your hands. With your strength and the origin power, you truly might have the chance to hold back an immortal venerable. As he was speaking, Yu Cheng's voice gradually softened. Just a golden immortal, yet capable of battling an immortal venerable. It was outrageously preposterous. Thankfully, the origin that this kid had perceived wasn't of the Tao he cultivated. Otherwise, facing this young man would probably embarrass him to death. After a moment of silence, he spoke again. Plus, with this old man joining in with the two of us here, if that immortal venerable truly dares to make a move, we will definitely be able to suppress him. At this point, the heart Yu Cheng had been holding also gradually relaxed. He couldn't help but chuckle. Where is that fellow Taoist? I've heard of the leaving fire sect ancestor. His strength is not weak, but I didn't expect there to be an ancestor-level figure related to the Red Clan. That senior is currently in the inheritance ruins, having a private chat with the Immortal King Senior. We sensed your presence and came over immediately, Lu Yi explained. I see. In that case, let's head to Red Flame Star first. The group returned to the Grand Hall of Red Flame Star, but Yu Cheng didn't say he would disturb the leaving fire sect ancestor and the Immortal King as they reminisced. That would likely annoy the other party. After all, the other party was an immortal venerable at the peak. Even with his strength plus Lu Yi's origin power, he could not guarantee that they would be able to hold the Taoist friend down. An immortal venerable level powerhouse would have many tactics at their disposal. Though Yu Cheng wasn't afraid of the leaving fire sect ancestor, naturally, he did not wish to make an enemy of him either. They settled outside and waited until the next day when the leaving fire sect ancestor emerged. He appeared to have let go of something, his expression showing a sense of relief. After seeing Yu Cheng, the leaving fire sect ancestor showed no surprise. After all, as an immortal venerable at the peak venturing into this star domain, it would normally be expected that other immortal venerables would come rushing over. Otherwise, it would truly seem like they were underestimating him. Chapter 785, 371, Innate Treasure, Origin Immortal Technique. Chapter 785-371, Innate Treasure, Origin Immortal Technique. I am Yan Yuan, pleased to meet you. I've come to your esteemed place and might have talked too much, the elder of the leaving fire sect said with a smile, bowing slightly, his demeanor very friendly. Seeing the elder from the leaving fire sect behaving so cordially, Yu Cheng also felt relieved. He too smiled lightly and bowed. Yu Cheng of the Yu family, pleased to meet you. Since you are a descendant of the Red Flame Immortal King, I naturally welcome your visit. The meeting was quite friendly, and they began exchanging insights, ranging from the Sky Falling Star domain and the Xianxia Star domain to their various insights into the Tao, and even some extraordinary anecdotes from the universe. The atmosphere was lively, almost as if both host and guest were thoroughly enjoying themselves. Hearing that the elder from the leaving fire sect planned to stay on the Red Star for a few days, Yu Cheng immediately expressed his intention to stay with Lu Yi to keep him company, without urging the elder to leave. Of course, Yu Cheng retained his vigilance. After all, the other party was a peak immortal venerate. The elder from the leaving fire sect understood Yu Cheng's mindset and naturally didn't refuse. In the following days, the group stayed on the Red Star. During this time, the elder from the leaving fire sect visited the inheritance land every day, entering the high tower to spend time alone with the Red Flame Immortal King. Gradually, Lu Yi noticed that the elder's aura had slightly improved compared to before. It was known that the elder, being at the peak of immortal venerate, was almost at the limit just beneath the Immortal King. Without a special opportunity, it was nearly impossible for him to advance further. The improvement obviously came from the help provided by the Red Flame Immortal King. For this, Lu Yi was not surprised, as the Red Flame Immortal King, a powerful figure of the Red Flame clan, would naturally help his kin in distress. The elder from the leaving fire sect stayed on the Red Star for over half a month before planning to depart. Fellow friend Lu, fellow Yu Cheng, Thank you both for your hospitality during these days, the elder from the leaving fire sect said, bowing to the two of them. His face showed neither the sorrow nor the confusion seen when he first met the red flame immortal king. Instead, his cloudy eyes now sparkled with clarity. Clearly, the elder from the leaving fire sect had gained greatly during this time. Lu Yi and Yu Cheng also bowed to the elder. You are too courteous, fellow friend. You are welcome to visit Jade Star next time, and I, Yu Cheng, will certainly receive you warmly. Yu Cheng's face was also full of smiles, for he too had gained a lot. The elder from the leaving fire sect had the shadow of the red flame immortal king, perhaps obtaining some fundamentals of the red flame clan, but Yu Cheng had Lu Yi. Knowing that Lu Yi had mastered the fire origin, Yu Cheng unabashedly took the opportunity to discuss the Tao with him. From these discussions, Yu Cheng learned a great deal. It was a pity that his cultivation was not of the fire Tao, or his gains would have been even higher. Even so, he felt that he had gained a deeper understanding of the origin, which boded well for leveraging it in his own Tao. Coupled with his previous experience, Yu Cheng felt that he was not far from mastering the origin power. His heart felt a bit excited. Once he mastered the origin power, Yu Cheng would be like possessing the key to step into the immortal king realm. By then, might he become the first among many years in the universe to enter the immortal king realm. Yu Cheng's thoughts wandered, and he exchanged a few more pleasantries with the elder from the leaving fire sect. Afterward, the group escorted the elder to the border area of the sky falling star domain, watching as he boarded his heavenly boat and departed. Only after the elder's heavenly boat activated the space array and entered the void did Yu Cheng turn to look at Lu Yi and the others. I am at a critical time in my seclusion. I need to go back and continue my cultivation. You young folks better not stir up any major incidents. Lu Yi and the others nodded in agreement. Then Yu Cheng left, leaving only Yu Lingluo and Liu Ningxuang among the group. After a moment of silence, Lu Yi smiled lightly and said, "Let's go back as well." Red Butterfly, who had been accompanying them these days, seemed reluctant but still spoke up. "Master, then Red Butterfly will continue to cultivate." Lu Yi nodded and strive harder. "Yes, Master. Red Butterfly will definitely work harder and become your strong support." After Red Butterfly left, Lu Yi and his group boarded the White Jade skyship and left the Red Star. With the speed of the White Jade skyship, they returned to the Tiananmen star system in just a few days. Seeing the familiar Tiananmen star, bustling with many skyships and the thriving commercial planet, everyone relaxed considerably. "We are finally back," Dongong Yue exclaimed joyfully. The others also displayed smiles. The group passed through the commercial planet without stopping to look around, heading straight for Tiananmen Star, back to the White Cloud Immortal sect. Afterward, the Ling Luo Peak Master returned to the top of Ling Luo Peak, and Lu Yi and his group each returned to their own cave mansions. Upon entering his cave mansion, Lu Yi couldn't wait to activate the Great Array and entered the cultivation room. He could finally check the other rewards of his task. First was the innate treasure, the Immortal Flame Emperor Bell. Lu Yi took out this immortal artifact from the task rewards. It was a small bell, the size of a palm. The small bell looked like it was made from red glaze, with mysterious and flickering spiritual patterns and strands of flames circulating within the glaze. The moment he took it out, Lu Yi felt an extreme heat being emitted, as if the Immortal Flame Emperor Bell was a sun radiating heat. If it weren't for the numerous formations in his cultivation room, which were the culmination of all the formations Lu Yi had learned and could withstand an attack from an immortal venerate, it might not even withstand the pressure emitted by the Immortal Flame Emperor Bell. Chapter 786, 371, Innate Treasure, Origin Immortal Technique 2. Chapter 786-371, Innate Treasure, Origin Immortal Technique /2. Lu Yi looked at the small bell with a hint of surprise in his heart. It truly was an innate treasure. Just the mere pressure of an immortal artifact might be enough to destroy a golden immortal, let alone its full power. Just how strong could it be if driven to the fullest? Lu Yi immediately began to refine this innate treasure. As he refined it, Lu Yi also mastered the functions of the Immortal Flame Emperor Bell. The Immortal Flame Emperor Bell could be used for both offense and defense, capable of unleashing a terrifying flame flow that incinerated everything, and for defense, it could transform the flame flow into a shield to fend off attacks. One must know, Even the immortal artifacts left in the relics by the Red Flame Immortal King were merely acquired spirit treasures, so you could imagine just how powerful an innate treasure that surpasses even the weapons used by an immortal king would be. Although Lu Yi had not tried the full power of this innate treasure, he could infer that it wouldn't be lacking. The prohibitions within the innate treasure were extremely complex, and Lu Yi spent hundreds of years refining this immortal artifact. During this time, he did nothing else and focused solely on refining it until he finally achieved complete success, having the immortal flame Emperor Bell acknowledge him as its master. He also stored the immortal flame Emperor Bell in his inner world, nourishing it with Taoist energy and chaos qi. One couldn't help but wonder, given the basis of the immortal flame Emperor Bell, whether nurturing it for a period could turn it into an even more powerful treasure. After refining the immortal flame Emperor Bell, Lu Yi rested for a while, engaged in dual cultivation with Liu Ningxuang and the others, and then gathered with Jiang Fan and the rest. After easing his fatigue, he returned to his cave mansion and began to cultivate the Origin Immortal skill, 9 Heavens Tribulation Fire. An Origin Immortal skill is an immortal technique that must be used with Origin power, and generally, only immortal kings and immortal emperors can master Origin power. Naturally, this Origin Immortal skill is also considered to be of an immortal king or immortal emperor level. One could imagine how great its power was. In the rewards for Lu Yi's previous task, there were also benefits for enhancing cultivation of immortal techniques. Lu Yi stacked all these rewards for use, and still, it took him over 300 years to fully master the 9 Heavens Tribulation Fire to the limit realm. It can be said that this was the most profound immortal technique Lu Yi had cultivated to date. Since Lu Yi's grasp of Origin power was not particularly profound, cultivating it proved somewhat difficult. Only someone like Lu Yi could succeed in its comprehension. Even the former elder of the Leaving Fire sect might not have managed to master it in his entire lifetime. The result, of course, was extremely favorable. Though Origin Immortal skills are difficult to master, their power is truly terrifying. The 9 Heavens Tribulation Fire simulates a Taoist fire tribulation with the essence of fire origin, capable of directly igniting a cultivator's inner flame, burning the primordial spirit. This form of attack is virtually impossible to defend against. Although the primordial spirits of most cultivators are also strong, faced with a direct assault from the tribulation fire, they would likely be finished on the spot. Even against immortal venerable level powerhouses, Lu Yi felt confident that he could fight with the aid of the 9 Heavens Tribulation Fire. It was not like before, where he used his own origin power to suppress Elder Yu Cheng, also a fire cultivator. It was a true head-on hard clash. One could imagine how significant this improvement was. However, 9 Heavens Tribulation Fire was not without its drawbacks. As an Origin Immortal skill, it consumed a large amount of immortal spirit qi. Naturally, it was intended for use by immortal kings and immortal emperors whose reserves of immortal spirit qi were vastly different from Lu Yi's. Only someone like Lu Yi could possibly manage its use. A typical golden immortal level practitioner might be drained dry after just one use. Lu Yi estimated that even with his reserves at most, he could use it only a few dozen times before his immortal spirit qi was exhausted. Once he advanced to the immortal monarch realm, his capacity for spiritual energy would also increase. At that point, even if he continuously used the 9 Heavens Tribulation Fire, he wouldn't have to worry about running out of immortal spirit qi. Speaking of cultivation base, Lu Yi had not neglected his own cultivation during this short period. Additionally, with intermittent dual cultivation and the supplement of various cultivation resources, Lu Yi maintained the pace of progressing one layer every 100 years or so, and his current cultivation base had reached the Golden Immortal 8th layer. The point of Golden Immortal perfection was not far away. Several hundred years might be a very long time for a mortal, even enough for a dynasty to rise and decline. But for an immortal, it seems to pass in the blink of an eye. For the entire universe, it's even more like the blink of an eye, almost imperceptible. In that span of several hundred years, everything seemed as if it had hardly changed at all. From the time the Leaving Fire sect ancestor had left the sky falling star domain, Lu Yi led a very tranquil life, spending his days engaged in normal cultivation practices. Whenever his resources were insufficient, he would make a trip to the Jiu battlefield to run a dungeon, obtaining a wealth of star cores and star marrow, and then he would continue his cultivation. Every day he acquired resources with ease. After comprehending the 9 heavens tribulation fire to the limit, Lu Yi found himself even more at leisure, having more time to start contemplating other things, such as array Tao, alchemy Tao, artifact Tao, and even improvement of the star realm army formations and so on. Lu Yi's days were simple yet fulfilling. He merged and integrated all his various insights, forming new concepts. Every single day, Lu Yi could sense his own progress. To the average immortal, they might need to meditate for a long time to make progress, but Lu Yi's talent was extraordinary after all, and his foundation was peerless. With his conditions, not to mention every day, every month, every year brought him a different kind of transformation. In this way, time passed by in stable cultivation. Before he knew it, another 200 years had gone by, and Lu Yi's cultivation base had finally reached the peak of the golden immortal realm, only one step away from breaking through to the immortal monarch realm. Upon reaching the peak of the golden immortal realm, Lu Yi naturally issued the task of breaking through to the immortal monarch realm. The task reward was as generous as ever, but this time it was different from before. It no longer mentioned chaos treasures. Task: break through to the immortal monarch realm. Reward: increase the fusion speed of Taoist energy. Accept the task, yes, no. Lu Yi, seeing the task reward, felt somewhat mixed emotions. He originally thought there would be even more powerful chaos treasures or other treasures, but he didn't expect this to be the reward. However, Lu Yi was not disappointed. On the contrary, he was quite satisfied. After all, Lu Yi had absorbed so much Taoist energy and chaos qi, and these energies were now all within his body and inner world, unassimilated. It was as if he was sitting on a mountain of treasure without knowing how to use it. Not to mention chaos qi. If Lu Yi could absorb all the Taoist energy and make it his own, his strength would likely become extremely exaggerated and terrifying. And if he were to absorb the chaos qi, it would be even more incredible. This time, the reward for the Immortal Monarch breakthrough task was to increase the speed of fusion with Taoist energy, which might allow him to rapidly absorb all of it. If that were the case, then after he had absorbed all the Taoist energy, he might undergo a transformation. Thinking of this, Lu Yi was very excited. He anticipated that after the breakthrough and absorbing the Taoist energy, his progress would be substantial. After releasing the task, Lu Yi continued his cultivation, and after spending nearly 100 years, he reached the perfection of the golden immortal realm with no space left for improvement. It was time for his breakthrough. As for where to break through, Lu Yi naturally still chose Jade Star. Since Elder Yu Cheng had bid farewell to Lu Yi at Red Star last time and continued to meditate on Jade Star, there still hadn't been any good news. Clearly, even with the previous few Tao Tides as a foundation and Lu Yi lecturing at Red Star, it still hadn't helped him break through that bottleneck to master origin power. The breakthrough to Immortal Monarch was even more indefinite. Lu Yi couldn't help but feel a bit helpless. After all, origin power wasn't supposed to be that difficult to master, was it? Why, after so long, had the Yu family ancestors still not mastered it? Lu Yi planned to visit Jade Star again. This time the Tao Tide should be stronger than the last, and for the Yu family ancestor, it should be a tremendous boost, possibly helping him take that final step. Thinking of this, Lu Yi left the cave mansion and went to Ling Luo Peak to find the Ling Luo Peak Master. You're going to break through again. The Ling Luo Peak Master was awakened from her sleep by Lu Yi, and at first groggy, when she heard that Lu Yi said he was about to break through again, she suddenly woke up completely, her expression bewildered as she looked at Lu Yi. She even wondered if she was still sleeping and dreaming. Chapter 787-372, Breaking Through to Immortal Monarch, Feedback from the Tao and Chaos. Chapter 787-372, Breaking Through to Immortal Monarch, Feedback from the Tao and Chaos. If you break through again, won't you become an immortal monarch? Ling Luo Peak Master widened her eyes as she looked at Lu Yi. Lu Yi nodded and smiled. If an immortal monarch realm follows a golden immortal, then yes, you are correct. Ling Luo Peak Master rolled her eyes, also realizing she had just asked a foolish question. By this time, she had already calmed her excited feelings. After all, she knew of Lu Yi's talent. His rapid advancement to the immortal monarch realm was also within her expectations. When do we depart? I'll go call senior sister and the others, and then we can set off. Lu Yi laid out his arrangements. Of course, Ling Luo Peak Master had no objections. So Lu Yi found Liu Ningxuang and the others who were cultivating in seclusion. When they learned that Lu Yi was about to advance to the Immortal Monarch realm, they too were both shocked and delighted. The group quickly assembled at the top of Ling Luo Peak. And at this moment, Yu Yuanwu also appeared beside Ling Luo Peak Master. These days, Yu Yuanwu was very comfortable on Tiananmen Star. Not only did he frequently listen to Lu Yi's teachings, but the concentration of immortal spirit Qi on Ling Luo Peak now also wasn't much less than that of Jade Star. Moreover, with the powerful gathering spirit immortal array, his cultivation speed was extremely fast, and with no one to oversee him, he lived very freely. Whenever he had free time, he would go drink with Zhang Fan, Heavenly Dragon Saint Sun and others. If it weren't for the fact that Lu Yi was about to break through, he might even be willing to return to Jade Star. As for Yu Hangguang, who wasn't on Tiananmen Star, he was different from Yu Yuanwu. As a direct descendant of the Yu family in the Golden Immortal Realm, he also had his own responsibilities. Besides regular cultivation, he sometimes needed to help out at the Jiyu battlefield or serve as a temporary officer in the Star Realm Army, a much busier life compared to Yu Yuanwu's. Once everyone arrived, Lu Yi took out the white Jade skyship, everyone boarded, and they vanished from Tiananmen, flying towards Jade Star. But after arriving at Jade Star, Yu Xin and the Yu family's higher-ups were left dumbfounded when they heard that Lu Yi was on the verge of entering the Immortal Monarch realm. For a moment, they couldn't even react. This was especially true for Yu Xin and Yu Xianxia and other members of the high-level direct lineage of the Yu family, who had known Lu Yi from a very early time. Yu Xin and Yu Xianxia were both immortal monarchs. When Lu Yi had not yet reached the true immortal realm, they were already immortal monarchs. And now that Lu Yi was about to break through to the immortal monarch realm, their own progress seemed minimal, with the immortal venerate realm still far in the future. This stark contrast made it somewhat difficult for them to accept for a time. After a moment of silence, Yu Xin, looking at Lu Yi, couldn't help but sigh. "Year, witnessing your growth truly makes it easy to lose one's Tao heart." Yu Xianxia nodded in agreement. Who would have thought that the young fellow who was only at the heavenly immortal realm years ago would now be almost reaching our realm? The younger generations are indeed to be feared. Lu Yi smiled and said, "These years, Uncle Yu and Aunt Yu have been of great help to me. Without the Yu family, I wouldn't have advanced so swiftly." The Yu family truly have been a great help to Lu Yi. Not to mention anything else, the vast amount of immortal techniques in the Yu family's book collection pavilion had been irreplaceable in helping Lu Yi accumulate his foundation. Without that extensive collection, even with various immortal scriptures and immortal techniques awarded through tasks, it's hard to say how many years it would have taken to build up a foundation like his current one, and deduce the Tao Yin Yang immortal scripture suitable for himself. After exchanging a few pleasantries, Lu Yi inquired, "How is Elder Yu Cheng now? Has he grasped the origin power?" Yu Xin and Yu Xianxia exchanged a glance, their expressions somewhat strange. They too knew Lu Yi had mastered the origin power, and when they first found out, they too questioned their lives. After all, Lu Yi had grasped the origin power at the Golden Immortal Realm, while they were already immortal monarchs who had yet to bring their own laws to perfection. The disparity left them feeling somewhat ashamed. Now faced with Lu Yi's inquiry, they felt a bit awkward. Yu Xin cleared his throat. "The elder is still in seclusion. Perhaps he has made a breakthrough." Yu Xianxia lightly chuckled. "After this Tao tide, the elder will surely grasp the origin power and cross the most difficult threshold." Upon hearing this, Lu Yi's eyes lit up, filled with anticipation. "That's good to hear. Uncle Yu, Aunt Yu, please get ready. I can cross tribulation at any time." Yu Xin and Yu Xianxia both nodded. Then Yu Xin, thinking of something, cleared his throat and said, "Oh right, the elder mentioned that when you arrive, you should visit him. He wants to discuss your insights into the origin power with you to understand his own insights better." Lu Yi nodded, "No problem." Afterward, Lu Yi headed to Elder Yu Cheng's secluded residence, while Liu Ningxuang and the others followed Ling Luo Peak Master back to the small courtyard, not accompanying Lu Yi. But as time passed, a month later, under Yu Xin's arrangements, the Yu family practitioners who were outside learned that Lu Yi would soon be crossing tribulation on Jade Star. They hurried back from all over the sky falling star domain. Some, who were far away, did not care about the expenditure, even if they had to exhaust their star marrow, ensured that the heavenly boat traveled through the void at the fastest speed to return to Jade's star. After all, Luya's Tao Tide on Jade's star was legendary, an extremely rare opportunity. Any cultivator who had experienced it once would have immense breakthroughs. Those who had previously experienced Luya's Tao Tide, unless there were imperative tasks to perform, would rush back as quickly as possible. And those who had not experienced it before were already looking forward to it in their hearts, having constantly heard from their friends and family about the Tao Tide brought by Luyi last time. Chapter 788, 372, Breaking Through to Immortal Monarch, Tao and Chaos Feedback 2. At the same time, he had seen his relatives and friends reap huge benefits from Luya's previous Tao Tide, and he had long envied them, determined not to miss Luya's breakthrough this time. Thus, except for the Yu family practitioners who were still guarding the Jiyu battlefield and those pursuing the heavenly demon and could not return, all other Yu family disciples hastened back from afar. The number of people was even greater than last time. Yu Xin had already arranged the enlightenment platform used for gaining Tao understanding, almost the same as last time, but on a larger scale. During Luya's last breakthrough, the heavenly tribulation that occurred was already immensely terrifying. If it were the same scale this time, they might directly be affected by the aftershocks of the heavenly tribulation. Not to mention gaining Tao understanding, there could even be danger. Even the high-level officials of the Yu family in the Immortal Monarch realm, having witnessed the heavenly tribulation during Luya's last breakthrough, were very cautious at this moment. Soon everything was ready. Lu Yi, who had been discussing Tao at Yu Cheng's for a month, also received the notice and immediately prepared for the breakthrough. He moved to a void, even farther from Jade's star than last time. The surrounding was filled with enlightenment platforms of Yu family practitioners, where many were now sitting cross-legged, awaiting Lu Yi's breakthrough. Yu Xin also followed behind Lu Yi, coming to the starry sky, stopping on the enlightenment platform. Lu Yi glanced at the Yu family practitioners on the enlightenment platform, some familiar, others strangers. He took a deep breath, set aside all kinds of emotions, calmed his mind and began the breakthrough. A profound immortal breaking through to a golden immortal involves expanding the rudimentary small world within one's body into an inner world. For the Immortal Monarch realm, it involves inscribing the power of laws one has understood into one's own inner world. To ordinary practitioners, not having strong enough power of laws to inscribe into the inner world is the most difficult part. To inscribe law patterns in the inner world, one must at least master the power of laws at an expertise realm. However, Lu Yi didn't face such difficulties. He had a significant amount of power of laws that had reached perfection, and the fire Tao was even mastered to the origin. Lu Yi's eyes sparkled with flowing light. Using his divine sense as a tool, he inscribed various law patterns he had comprehended into his inner world surged with Taoist energy and chaos qi. There was the water law, natural law, earth law, frost law, sword law, power law, and so forth. With each inscription of a law pattern, the Taoist energy and chaos qi within Lu Yi's inner world surged a bit, beginning to temper the inscribed law patterns. Waves of Tao understanding fed back to Lu Yi, deepening his comprehension of various laws. Lu Yi had already reached perfection in his understanding of these laws, and some, like the power law and sword law, were even nearing the origin level. Now, under the feedback of the Tao, those power of laws that were just a step away from completion broke through, with the power law, sword law, and others all advancing to the origin realm. Lu Yi was amazed within himself, not expecting that having both Taoist energy and chaos qi entirely within his inner world would bring such benefits. An ordinary practitioner's inner world primarily contains immortal spirit qi, and even if they inscribed some laws and received feedback, it definitely wouldn't be comparable to Lu Yi, let alone the direct mastery of origin power. This breakthrough had just begun, yet it was already bringing Lu Yi immense benefits. After inscribing all the law patterns he had mastered, Lu Yi then inscribed the fire origin Tao pattern that he had mastered. Almost at the moment of inscription, the Taoist energy turned into a storm, swirling around the complicated fire origin Tao pattern like burning flames. Even the previously slightly surging chaos qi was now intensely tumultuous. As the origin Tao patterns were inscribed, mysterious insights of the fire origin continuously emerged in Lu Yi's mind, all feedback from the Tao and chaos. Lu Yu was overwhelmed with joy, feeling his grasp of fire origin understanding rapidly improving. As Lu Yu completed the inscription of the last origin Tao pattern, the law patterns and origin Tao patterns within his body shimmered with mysterious Tao light, merging into Lu Yu's inner world. Lu Yu's inner world seemed slightly different now, infused with more vitality. This was Lu Yu's Tao understanding, also reflected in Lu Yu's own inner world. Afterward, Lu Yu's inner world began to feed back even more powerful forces. His immortal spirit Qi surged, his physical body became stronger, and everything seemed to be constantly improving. At this moment, Lu Yu broke through to the immortal monarch realm. Following the breakthrough, the oppressive might of the Tao appeared above Lu Yu's head. He looked up and saw various exotic heavenly thunders surging with mysterious Tao light and the power of destruction. As before, there was only a thunder sea, no clouds, but contrary to the last time, the current heavenly thunders were more terrifying and filled with the power of destruction. However, Lu Yu's expression did not change at all. He did not feel any threat from these heavenly thunders. After all, Lu Yu's strength had become too formidable. Boom! The immortal spirit Qi surged wildly. Heavenly thunders turned into splendid rainbow lights, enveloping Lu Yu within. Lu Yu only felt his whole body tingling, and even found it somewhat comfortable. Amidst the heavenly tribulation, Lu Yu began to comprehend the Tao, organizing the insights he had acquired, and also triggered the Tao rules. Outside the heavenly thunder, at the enlightenment platform, Yu Xin and others looking at the brilliant luminosity were somewhat thirsty and parched. This heavenly tribulation, isn't it too exaggerated? Even if I were to withstand it now, I might not be able to, an elder from the Yu family who was a white-bearded immortal monarch exclaimed in somewhat shock. This particular immortal monarch of the Yu family had been guarding the Jiyu battlefield and had just rotated to take a break, which coincided with Lu Yu's breakthrough. Even on the Jiyu battlefield, he had heard of Lu Yu's reputation and the Tao tide that Lu Yu's breakthrough brought about. But this was his first time seeing Lu Yu's breakthrough in person. It was for this reason, upon seeing the fearful heavenly tribulation facing Lu Yu, he felt a bit of a chill run through his scalp. The heavenly tribulation was too terrifying. Even though he was already an immortal monarch and not a weak one among them, he still felt his life was in danger facing such heavenly thunder. The immortal monarch of the Yu family even felt a bit worried for a moment. Can Lu Yu really overcome such a heavenly tribulation? Yu Xin and Yu Xianxia nearby, however, had witnessed Lu Yu's breakthrough many times already. Although they were still shocked by the heavenly tribulation facing Lu Yu, they were not as unconfident as he. A middle-aged burly man at the golden immortal peak with cross arms and a grin said, "Uncle 3, rest assured there's no problem. The last time Year broke through, the heavenly tribulation already made my scalp tingle, and yet after he crossed it, even his clothes were clean and tidy, not looking like someone who had undergone tribulation crossing at all, very easygoing. This time the heavenly tribulation is a bit more exaggerated, but I believe with his strength he should be able to cross it, though it may just be slightly more challenging." The immortal monarch and golden immortals of the Yu family also nodded in agreement. Most of the cultivators here had witnessed Lu Yu's tribulation crossing before. "Uncle 3, don't worry, there will be no problem," Yu Xianxia also said with a slight smile. Seeing them all speak so, the elder immortal monarch of the Yu family no longer said more. Suddenly, mysterious Tao light emerged in the void. The aura of the Tao surged from the void along with the blossoming of golden lotuses, the roar of the true dragon, the phoenix undergoing nirvana, and other anomalies, also enveloping the entire region with incredibly mysterious Tao patterns, even spreading beyond towards Jade's star. This Tao tide twisted space, radiating outward at a velocity far exceeding the speed of light. The practitioners of the Yu family seeing these Tao lights immediately responded. Yu Qing's voice rang out. "The Tao tide is now present. Grasp this opportunity well to comprehend. Do not waste years' earnest efforts." As a matter of fact, even without Yu Qing's reminder, at the very instant the Tao tide appeared, most of the cultivators had already gotten lost in the endless Tao Yun, already embarking on their enlightened journey. Thus, amidst the roaring of the heavenly tribulation, many Yu family practitioners sat cross-legged, bathing in the Tao light, comprehending the mysteries of the Tao. Chapter 789-373 Immortal Venerable's Heart Demon, Illusion Origin. Chapter 789-373, Immortal Venerable's Heart Demon, Illusion Origin. The heavenly tribulation continued for a long time, with bolts of thunder light striking Luya's body, absorbed by him, refining his flesh. After being nourished by various Tao treasures and Chaos treasures, his flesh was further tempered to become even more powerful. When the heavenly tribulation disappeared, Luyi slowly opened his eyes. The Tao tide had not yet dissipated, and the Yu family practitioners were still meditating at this moment, with Liu Ningxuang and a few others among them, and next to them was the Ling Luo Peak Master. Luyi glanced at everyone. Seeing that they would not wake up any time soon, he decided to return first. He planned to go to the Yu family's book storage pavilion to read some books and increase his knowledge base. But this time, the scope of the Tao tide was extremely vast. The Yu family was the central area of the sky falling star domain, occupying the place where immortal spirit Qi was richest, surrounded by powerful forces with immortal monarchs. Although these forces were not as strong as the Yu family, they were still powerful within the sky falling star domain, occupying excellent positions not far from the central area. As the Tao tide twisted space, spreading at an extremely fast pace, it even surpassed the central region of the sky falling star domain and radiated outward. Even in the territories of other forces thousands of light-years away, a rich Tao Yun could be vaguely felt. In these forces, where the immortal monarch ancestors who were in constant seclusion and indifferent to worldly affairs, unless the GU battlefield saw an anomaly, were rarely seen, now appeared one after another. A group of immortal monarch ancestors watched in astonishment towards the direction of the Yu family, their eyes filled with incredulous shock. This is the direction of the Yu family. In one of the powerful forces, 3 immortal monarchs stood together, looking at the faintly emerging mysterious Tao light in the distance, all of them shocked. One of them spoke slowly. The other 2 immortal monarchs were also stunned for a moment before someone responded. It's definitely the direction of the Yu family. Such Tao Yun, such Tao light, it's not something us cultivators at the immortal monarch realm can achieve. It must be the ancestors of the Yu family. But why would there be such huge commotion? An immortal monarch said, unable to understand. Could it be that an immortal venerable has broken through to immortal king, attracting a Tao anomaly? One immortal monarch recalled some previous rumors, his expression a bit strange as he said, I've heard that in recent years, there was an extremely remarkable individual in the Yu family, and whenever he breaks through, he brings about a Tao anomaly, although not on such a large scale. Could it be that prodigy has made another breakthrough? Hearing the words of this immortal monarch, the other 2 were taken aback, somewhat dumbfounded. What kind of individual can cause a Tao anomaly every time he breaks through? You can't be joking, right? How could that be possible? Previously, when it was my turn to guard the Minjuan battlefield, I heard from the talented individuals of the Yu family there. A few of them seemed to have experienced such Tao anomalies, which they said were extremely beneficial to cultivators for comprehending Tao rules and breaking through bottlenecks. The immortal monarch said, his expression revealing a hint of envy. He remembered that among them, a Yu family's golden immortal commander actually broke through to the immortal monarch realm, almost without any warning. He originally couldn't understand until he heard it was because of that Tao anomaly that the breakthrough was possible. To know that golden immortal commander had been some distance away from making a breakthrough. One could imagine how great the benefits brought by this Tao anomaly were. At the time, he was somewhat skeptical when he heard about this, but now he believed it. There's actually such a thing. Is there really such an opportunity? The other 2 immortal monarch ancestors widened their eyes in surprise and uncertainty, not quite believing. That immortal monarch came back to his senses, looking at the slowly surging Tao anomaly in the distance with a determined look in his eyes. I need to go and see. If I miss such an opportunity, it would be an outrage against heaven. The other 2 immortal monarch ancestors, still somewhat skeptical, exchanged glances and finally followed. Regardless of whether it was a Tao anomaly brought about by a genius of the Yu family, they could feel that this Tao anomaly was indeed extraordinary, perhaps a truly rare opportunity. Not only were they the only ones with this idea, but in each top force area around the core, various immortal monarchs likewise communicated and shared this thought, transforming into streaks of light, flying toward the core of the sky falling star domain, nearing the territory of the Yu family. But time passed, and this Tao tide lasted particularly long. Months later, the Tao tide slowly dissipated, and the cultivators immersing in contemplation gradually emerged from their meditative states. Their faces were all more or less filled with surprise, excitement, and happiness, clearly having gained some benefits. The Yu family practitioners who had just woken up only had time to greet their companions before they transformed into streaks of light, as if on the horizon, waking up not because they had finished their contemplation, but because the dissipation of the Tao tide had roused them. Their gains were far from being digested, and at this moment, what they most wanted to do was to go into seclusion. Suddenly, there were fewer and fewer Yu family practitioners on the enlightenment platform, and Yu Cheng was still sitting cross-legged, unaffected by the dissipating Tao tide, with very unusual auras slowly flowing around him, different worlds seeming to manifest with each of his breaths. These worlds were so lifelike that it was hard to tell if they were illusions or truly existing worlds. Chapter 790-373, Immortal Venerable Heart Demon, Illusion Origin 2. Chapter 790-373, Immortal Venerable Heart Demon, Illusion Origin /2. The illusion law seemed to have undergone some change at this moment. After the immortal monarchs of the Yu family regained consciousness, they naturally noticed the difference in Yu Cheng. They looked at each other, eyes brimming with ecstatic joy. It looks like the ancestor is about to take the final step. The origin power, a white-bearded elder remarked with a complex expression, his eyes full of envy as he looked at Yu Cheng. He then spoke, "Be on guard, we must not let anyone disturb the ancestor at this critical moment. Our Yu family might soon have an immortal king." The other senior members of the Yu family were equally exhilarated, nodding repeatedly before dispersing around Yu Cheng, vigilantly watching the surrounding void. They took measures to prevent any entity that might affect Yu Cheng's enlightenment from approaching. Meanwhile, Lu Yi, who was reading in the library, suddenly stopped flipping the pages, looked up into the vacuum and revealed a slight smile. Is the breakthrough finally happening? As a cultivator possessing several types of origin powers, he was highly sensitive to the origin power. Lu Yi could clearly sense that the Yu family ancestor was emitting traces of origin energy, and the power of laws seemed to be gradually transforming, a sign of a breakthrough in the law comprehension. Lu Yi immediately put down the books and disappeared within the book storage pavilion. At that moment, Yu Hangsu, the librarian who had just finished his contemplation, returned. He was taken aback by the disturbed books but couldn't help revealing a smile. He naturally understood that it was probably Lu Yi who had been perusing the books. He shook his head, his face brimming with a smile as he picked up and tidied the books. In the vacuum above Jade's star, Lu Yi's body suddenly appeared. This unexpected arrival made Yu Xin and the others who had been on alert tense up instantly. Once they realized it was Lu Yi, they relaxed. "Year, it's just you. You gave us a scare," Yu Xin said with a sigh of relief. The others were speechless. Yu Lucan, an elder immortal monarch of the Yu family, laughed helplessly. "To approach us undetected, you're getting scarier by the day, child." Lu Yi apologized with a smile. "Uncle Yu, esteemed seniors, I'm sorry. I just sensed that the ancestor was making a breakthrough, so I came to see. I didn't mean to frighten you." Everyone quickly assured him it was okay. "Having you here makes us feel more reassured," Yu Liangyan, another immortal monarch of the Yu family, smiled. "You've mastered the origin power and naturally understand the situation better. Should anything go awry with the ancestor, we hope you can intervene, Year." Lu Yi nodded. "Don't worry, Elder Liangyan, I understand." Everyone nodded, all of them turning their gaze toward Yu Cheng, who was sitting cross-legged on the enlightenment platform at the center. Just then, the world illusion around Yu Cheng suddenly started fluctuating, growing increasingly intense. This caught everyone off guard. Yu Xin and others widened their eyes, incredibly anxious. "What's happening? What's going wrong?" Yu Xin clutched her fists nervously. It was a crucial moment for the Yu family ancestor to comprehend the origin power. If successful, comprehending the origin power would be crossing the largest hurdle towards the immortal king realm. Yu Cheng might potentially become a strong contender in the immortal king realm afterward. But the current situation seemed problematic. If the Yu family ancestor failed, causing adverse effects on himself, it would be a tremendous blow to the entire Yu family. There were only a few immortal venerates in the Yu family, and due to the threats from the Jiyu battlefield, other than Yu Cheng, the rest needed to guard the Jiyu battlefield to prevent any incidents. If something happened to Yu Cheng, the loss to the Yu family would be unimaginably severe. All the practitioners of the Yu family were extremely nervous. At this moment, Lu Yi also frowned slightly, somewhat bewildered. Normally, comprehending the origin power shouldn't present any unexpected difficulties, not to mention this time's feedback from the Tao and chaos, or the continuous comprehension of various laws to the extent of origin, as when he last comprehended the fire origin, such an issue never occurred. Having advanced to the immortal monarch realm, Lu Yi felt an overall enhancement in his abilities. He could vaguely sense something not quite right with the Yu family ancestor, whose emotional fluctuations were extremely violent, seemingly suffering from a heart demon. But how could that be? Comprehending origin power, and yet being afflicted by a heart demon. As Lu Yi struggled to comprehend, the world illusion around Yu Cheng shook even more violently and seemed at any moment like it could burst into nothingness. His complexion also turned very pale. Lu Yi saw this and quickly said, "Something seems wrong, I'm going in to check." Yu Xin and the others regained their senses, their expressions tense as they looked at Lu Yi. Yu Xin immediately nodded, earnestly saying, "Year, I entrust the ancestor to you." Lu Yi nodded. "Yeah, I'll do my best, even if I fail to perceive. I should be able to minimize the injuries suffered by the ancestor." The higher the cultivator's cultivation base, generally speaking, the less likely they are to encounter a heart demon. But once a heart demon does appear, it is no small matter, and if it is severe, it may even result in death. Even Lu Yi could only guarantee to save Yu Cheng's life. He vanished on the spot, arriving beside Yu Cheng. Around Yu Cheng, the illusion law and the power of illusion origin intertwined. Seeing someone intruding, the ethereal power of laws surged, and a host of dark shadows appeared in the illusion world. The dark shadows emitted black mist, as if manifesting Yu Cheng's heart demon, with crimson eyes fixating on Lu Yi, radiating a terrifying and violent aura. Although Yu Cheng was currently entrapped by a heart demon, he was still a powerhouse at the immortal venerable peak realm. Every dark shadow in this illusory world emitted an incredibly powerful aura, all at the immortal venerable level. Even though there was a huge gap between them and the Yu family ancestor, having so many immortal venerables was still very terrifying. This caused the expressions of Yu Xin and the others in the distance to change drastically. Is this a manifestation of the heart demon? How could the ancestor have developed a heart demon? A chorus of bewildered exclamation came from the strong members of the Yu family. The Yu family, because they cultivated the illusion law, faced even greater dangers from heart demon invasions. Because the heart demons could also be manifested by illusions, becoming real heart demons in reality. And if the inner heart demon cannot be eliminated, the real heart demons will never die. Now, the one encountering the heart demon is the ancestor of the Yu family, a mighty being at the peak of the immortal venerable realm. How terrifying would the heart demons he imagined be? Looking at these many immortal venerable dark shadows, they could understand. Moreover, these immortal venerable level heart demon manifestations could not even be destroyed. Just thinking about it made Yu Xin and the others shudder. However, facing such numerous immortal venerable level heart demon phantoms, Lu Yi's expression did not change much. He glanced at the violently surging heart demon phantoms, his body also emitting the mysterious power of illusion origin. His origin power was realized during the previous feedback from the Tao and chaos. In the Yu family's book collection pavilion, where illusion powers, immortal scriptures were the most numerous, Lu Yi had already cultivated the illusion law to the perfection realm previously. Following his breakthrough, he just needed to engrave the law patterns, gain feedback, and his power of laws naturally broke through to the origin realm. And his power of illusion origin was not half-hearted like the Yu family ancestor. Merely with a glance, all the violent dark shadows disappeared like bubbles. This left the previously shocked high-level members of the Yu family stunned on the spot. They stared dumbly at the disappearing dark shadows, their expressions utterly blank. So many heart demon phantoms at the immortal venerable realm, how could they suddenly vanish? After all, they were all at the immortal venerable realm. They were dumbfounded. However, very soon, Yu Xin and others felt a familiar yet more mysterious and exquisite aura emanating from Lu Yi. They widened their eyes, utterly shocked. An older Yu family practitioner at the immortal monarch realm murmured to himself, "Origin, the power of illusion origin." His voice carried full disbelief, and nearby, Yu Xin and Yu Xianian were also similarly astonished. As practitioners of the illusion law from the Yu family, they were shocked when they saw Lu Yi perceive the fire origin, but apart from that, they had no more emotional fluctuations. But now it was different. They were witnessing the power of illusion origin, akin to their own cultivational path. Chapter 791, 374 I Saw Jiu. It's incredible. Yi has actually mastered the power of illusion origin. When did he master it? Yu Xin exclaimed repeatedly, formerly composed, but the scene before him made it impossible for him to remain calm. Those around him, including Yu Xianian, also appeared perplexed, unaware of when Lu Yi had mastered the power of illusion origin. However, their emotions soon relaxed. Yu Xianian breathed a sigh of relief and said somewhat thankfully, "Thank goodness Yi has mastered the power of illusion origin, otherwise the consequences would have been unimaginable." The others nodded in agreement. If not for Lu Yi's power of illusion origin suppressing the unformed origin power of the Yu family ancestor, just the heart demon of the immortal venerable realm that appeared would have caused massive losses to the Yu family. Yes, we owe a lot to Yi. But it's really strange what happened to our ancestor. Given our lineage, heart demons should rarely occur, let alone in our ancestor. The power of illusion origin focuses on divine sense, and cultivators with strong divine sense are generally less prone to heart demons. If heart demons do appear, the trouble becomes greater. Among the Yu family practitioners who have reached the golden immortal realm or higher, those who experience heart demons are few and far between, not to mention the immortal venerable of the Yu family ancestor. With the profound accumulation of the Yu family ancestor, such a situation should not have occurred. Not sure, I hope the ancestor recovers. The faces of the Yu families, higher-ups clearly showed their concern. At that moment by Yu Cheng's side, after Lu Yi suppressed the manifested heart demon, he turned to Yu Cheng. Yu Cheng's body trembled slightly, his brow furrowed, his aged face slightly pale, indicating that his condition was not good. Lu Yi frowned, not entirely sure why Yu Cheng had encountered a heart demon, but he knew the situation was not optimistic. However, Lu Yi was not entirely out of options. A strand of incredibly mysterious Tao light flashed in his eyes, and Taoist energy flowed around his body, so visibly strong it could be seen with the naked eye. After breaking into the immortal monarch realm, with laws inscribed in his inner world, Lu Yi's manipulation of Taoist energy had become even more adept. At this moment, Lu Yi was using an immortal technique called Taixuan Heart Clearing Mantra, specifically aimed at countering heart demons. This immortal technique was something Lu Yi found in the Yu family's book storage pavilion. Although Lu Yi himself, with a solid foundation, had never faced a heart demon and might not face one in the future, his senior sisters were also in cultivation and could potentially encounter heart demons. So Lu Yi cultivated the Taixuan Heart Clearing Mantra, adopting a better safe than sorry approach. Unexpectedly, while he and Liu Ningxuang had not used it, it was the Yu family ancestor, skilled in divine sense, who first needed it. Lu Yi felt somewhat mixed at this moment. Considering that the Yu family ancestor was a powerful being at the immortal venerable realm, to ensure the success rate, Lu Yi did not hold back, directly invoking the Taoist energy, even integrating the power of illusion origin. His goal was not merely to save the Yu family ancestor. If he only saved the Yu family ancestor, then this enlightenment might fail, and it could also affect his own cultivation base. This was something Lu Yi could not accept. His aim was to break the heart demon, and also help the Yu family ancestor truly comprehend the power of illusion origin. He formed seals with his hands, and the next moment, mysterious vibrations spread out in all directions. This vibration carried a strange and profound aura, as if it could completely soothe and calm a person. The vibration enveloped the Yu family ancestor. Immediately, the Yu family ancestor's body shuddered, and his previously furrowed brow gradually relaxed, his complexion also regaining its color from its previously pale state. Lu Yi raised his eyebrows, for he himself did not have a heart demon, and since learning the Taixuan heart clearing mantra, he had never used it and was unsure of its effects. Unexpectedly, the results were quite remarkable. Of course, this was also thanks to his leveraging Taoist energy and integrating origin power. Seeing the immediate effect and the gradually normalizing complexion of the Yu family ancestor, Lu Yi also felt reassured. Indeed, it wasn't long before the illusory world, nearly dissolving into a specter, that surrounded the Yu family ancestor once again solidified, now radiating mysterious Tao patterns, drawing closer and closer to the true origin power. Lu Yi stood within the illusory world, yet seemed separate from it. At this level of illusory world, there was no impact on Lu Yi. He worried that if he now stopped the Taixuan heart-clearing mantra, the heart demon might again afflict the Yu family ancestor. After all, this heart demon had appeared too suddenly and was somewhat unusual. As time passed, gradually, the illusory world around the Yu family ancestor seemed to transform into a real world, powerful and mysterious waves spreading out, exerting considerable pressure on Lu Yi. He raised his eyebrows and disappeared from the spot, leaving the illusory world surrounding the Yu family ancestor. He could clearly sense that the Yu family ancestor had now mastered the power of illusion origin. The task was completed. Lu Yi appeared next to Yu Xin and others. Seeing Lu Yi, the previously tense faces of Yu Xin and the others immediately asked, "Year, how is it?" Lu Yi smiled and said, "It should be fine now." As Lu Yi finished speaking, Yu Cheng opened his eyes. His eyes still held a trace of lingering fear, his expression quite apprehensive. Chapter 792, 374 I saw Jihu 2. Chapter 792-374 I saw Jihu /2. Seeing Yu Cheng open his eyes, the cultivators of the Yu family all revealed surprised and joyful smiles. "It worked, it really worked. Ha ha ha, our Yu family ancestor has actually mastered the origin power. The Immortal King is within reach. The Immortal King is within reach." A group of high-ranking Yu family members exclaimed with surprise. They then cupped their hands in thanks to Lu Yi, their faces filled with gratitude. "Year, we owe you a debt of thanks, otherwise the situation might have been unpredictable." As practitioners of Golden Immortal and Immortal Monarch level, the Yu family's higher-ups naturally understood just how dangerous the situation had been. If it hadn't been for Lu Yi's intervention, even if the Yu family ancestor had survived the heart demon, his cultivation base would likely have suffered greatly. Lu Yi smiled, "Uncle Yu, you're too kind." At this point, Yu Cheng had already flown over. He looked at Lu Yi with a serious expression and cupped his hands in thanks. "Year, I was deeply mired in my heart demon just now, and I owe you big time. Otherwise, I might have had more bad luck than good." Seeing Yu Cheng's earnest gratitude, Lu Yi quickly supported him. "Ancestor, you are too polite, it was my duty to do so." Then he asked with considerable curiosity, "Ancestor, how did you come to have a heart demon appear? Before the heart demon appeared, there was no sign of it at all." Hearing Lu Yi's question, the others also looked at Yu Cheng with curious faces. "Yes, Ancestor, we were really scared to death just now." "Ancestor, with your divine sense cultivation, how could you still have a heart demon appear?" Hearing the words of the crowd, Yu Cheng thought back to the scenes he had just witnessed, and a trace of fear appeared on his face. He spoke slowly. "Just now, I seem to have seen some strange visions." Hearing this, Lu Yi and the Yu family's strong practitioners exchanged glances. What kind of visions could instill fear in a peak immortal venerable, especially one in control of the origin power? "What did you see?" Yu Xin asked. The Yu family ancestor had a distant look in his eyes, as if recalling the prior visions, and spoke. "I seem to have seen the Jiu." The tone of the Yu family ancestor was somewhat uncertain, but Lu Yi and Yu Xin, as well as others, all exchanged astonished looks. "You saw the Jiu?" The Yu family ancestor nodded. "Yes, it seemed like the Jiu. It was a world filled with Jiu Qi, and moreover there were several incredibly mighty presences of Jiu demons. When I felt the origin power, a terrifying gaze came from the depths of the Jiu. That gaze was extremely dreadful, just being watched for a moment caused me to develop a heart demon." This. All the Yu family cultivators were bewildered. They looked at each other as if they were hearing a fantastical tale. After all, it was too far-fetched to see the Jiu upon sensing the origin, and even feel a gaze coming from its depths. After all, with so many Jiu battlefields, none had ever truly displayed the real Jiu world to them. Throughout history, all cultivators who entered the Jiu channel never returned, so it was impossible to determine what actually lay beyond the Jiu channel. Under such circumstances, how could the Yu family ancestor have seen the Jiu? Even Lu Yi himself found it hard to believe. After all, when he sensed the origin, he did not have any reaction at all. To him, sensing the origin was not much different from sensing the power of laws. The biggest difference was perhaps that sensing the origin was much more difficult than sensing the power of laws. But as for supposedly seeing the Jihu and feeling a gaze from the Jihu, he definitely did not experience that. The atmosphere fell silent for a moment. An elderly Yu family member with white hair pondered before speaking. Ancestor, could it be that your constant preoccupation with the Jihu battlefield caused you to imagine seeing the Jihu world and feeling a gaze from the Jihu? Another old immortal monarch from the Yu family also spoke. Perhaps it was the heart demon that eroded you first, ancestor, triggering the illusion of what you were most worried about, the Jihu. Both possibilities were plausible. After hearing the words of the two, the Yu family ancestor fell silent for a moment. He hesitated, then slowly shook his head. Perhaps I am not certain. This was the reason he had been so uncertain when he spoke of his heart demon earlier. At that time, he was consumed by the heart demon, and if Year hadn't taken action, he would never have been able to regain consciousness and would have plunged completely into demonhood. Just thinking about that possibility made Yu Cheng shudder. If that were the case, then he would be the sinner of the entire Yu family. Thank goodness Year is here. Yu family ancestor looked at Lu Yi by his side and let out a sigh of relief. Then he seemed to think of something and asked, Year, when you perceived the origin power, did you notice anything unusual? Lu Yi hesitated for a moment but still shook his head honestly. Nothing unusual. Hearing this, Yu family ancestor smiled helplessly. It seems that it's indeed because of my insufficient accumulation that a heart demon has appeared. The other high-ranking members of the Yu family also revealed smiles. Ancestor, you mustn't say that. Now that you have grasped the origin power, you're not far from becoming an immortal king. Yes, ancestor. Since you've grasped the origin power, you've already overcome the biggest hurdle to reaching the immortal king realm. Breaking through is just a matter of time. Our Yu family is about to have an immortal king powerhouse. This is truly a joyous occasion. A group of Yu family practitioners began speaking one after another, congratulating the Yu family ancestor. The Yu family ancestor couldn't help but show a smile. Having been trapped at the peak of the immortal venerable for so many years, he finally saw hope for a breakthrough, naturally making him feel exhilarated. He looked towards Lu Yi, his eyes filled with gratitude, and couldn't help but exclaim, I owe it all to Year, otherwise I wouldn't have even come close to touching the origin power. As soon as this was mentioned, the expressions of those around became strange. After all, they had personally seen that Lu Yi had even grasped the illusion origin. Seeing that something was off with the crowd's expressions, Yu family ancestor asked in confusion, What's wrong? Yu Zin's mouth twitched, and he looked at Lu Yi with a face that doubted his own life, asking, Year, you've comprehended the illusion origin. Yu Cheng. He looked at Lu Yi with a dumbfounded face, completely shocked. He had spent so much effort just to perceive the illusion origin. When did Year do it? How could he have had no idea? The Yu family ancestor felt entirely numb. Lu Yi was startled for a moment, then nodded with a light laugh. Yes, during the tribulation crossing I perceived the Tao. I just happened to comprehend the illusion origin as well. It was fortunate, otherwise this would have been a big problem. Just happened to. The expressions of the high-ranking members of the Yu family gradually turned gloomy, their mental states bordering on collapse. For most people, tribulation crossing is a matter of careful preparation and full resistance. But this guy not only faced the most outrageous heavenly tribulation, but also just happened to perceive the origin power. Is he even human? Especially Yu Cheng, who understood best how difficult it was to perceive the origin. His mood had been lifted until hearing Lu Yi's words, and now he felt his own cultivation base was on the verge of collapsing. Comparing oneself with others can really be maddening. As the atmosphere grew silent, Lu Yi looked puzzled. Uncle Yu, ancestor, what's wrong? The crowd shook their heads numbly, looking very much like zombies. It's nothing. Yu Cheng was the first to recover, giving a light laugh. Let's go back. Yu Zin also returned to his senses, smiling. Now we have double happiness. Year has broken through to the immortal monarch realm, and the ancestor has perceived the origin power. We definitely need to celebrate. Yu Cheng chuckled, shaking his head. There's no need for me. When I break through to the immortal king realm, we can invite the powers of the sky falling star domain to celebrate. But this time, we could indeed celebrate for Year. Lu Yi was taken aback, slightly confused. Let's skip it for me, shall we? He wasn't too fond of such lively occasions. With that time, he'd rather return to Tiananmen. He still had a breakthrough reward to claim, and now that he had broken through to the immortal monarch realm, he could cultivate the Tao Yin Yang immortal scripture of the immortal monarch realm. His strength could rise significantly, and he had plenty to do. How can that be? We might have skipped it before, but this time, you've ascended to the immortal monarch realm. Looking across the entire sky-falling star domain, you're among the top powerhouses. How can we not celebrate properly, letting the leaders of other forces in the sky-falling star domain get to know you? Yu Zin objected. It is only right. Ye's achievement as an immortal monarch is due to his extraordinary talent and formidable strength. Moreover, he has such a close relationship with our Yu family. It is sensible on both emotional and logical grounds to have the people from other forces meet Yi. Even Yu Cheng nodded in agreement. Chapter 793, 375. The Jiu Demons Bursting Out of the Battlefield. Chapter 793-375. The Jiu Demons Bursting Out of the Battlefield. Although Yu Cheng and the others said so, Lu Yi still laughed and said, "Elder Uncle Yu, I'll pass on this. Anyway, if there really is anything with the Yu family around, other forces won't have any impact on me." Seeing Lu Yi so adamant, Yu Cheng and the others exchanged glances, all feeling somewhat helpless. Yu Zin couldn't help but laughingly scold. Other cultivators, upon breaking through to the immortal monarch realm, can't wait to let the entire universe's cultivators know, but you, my boy, are completely unconcerned. An elderly man with white hair beside him chuckled and said, "Yi's talent is extraordinary. Breaking through to immortal monarch is not difficult, and his future breakthroughs to immortal venerable and immortal king should also be within reason, so it's all right not to celebrate." The others also nodded, respecting Lu Yi's own thoughts. At the same time, many of the high-ranking members of the Yu family felt somewhat pleased, as Lu Yi's exhibited talent was too formidable, promising a truly extraordinary future. And his attitude, which clearly favored a closer relationship with the Yu family and a reluctance to establish ties with other forces, was actually a good thing for the Yu family. Afterwards, the group chatted and left the starry sky, each returning to their own homes. When Lu Yi got back home, he told Yu Zin and others that he planned to leave Jade Star and return to Tiananmen. "Won't you stay here a little longer?" Yu Zin and Yu Xianxia both felt somewhat reluctant. Lu Yi laughed and said, "It's been a while since I left, and after the breakthrough I've also made no small gains. I need to go into seclusion for a while." Seeing Lu Yi insist, Yu Zin and Yu Xianxia didn't hold him back, but just nodded their heads. Later, Lu Yi called upon Liu Ningxuang and a few from Ling Luo Peak, and a group of them boarded the White Jade skyship and left Jade Star. Not long after Lu Yi and the others had left, two guards of the Yu family found Yu Zin, patriarch. "The ancestors of the Bonos and Rock Lizard clans have requested an audience." They saw Tao Tide surging in Jade Star and wondered if it was young Master Lu Yi's breakthrough and came to celebrate for him. Upon hearing this, Yu Zin and Yu Xianxia were both stunned and exchanged a look, a flicker of amusement in their eyes. Yu Zin then chuckled lightly and said, "Let them in, it's a pity they've come too late." After returning to Ling Luo Peak, Lu Yi immediately went into seclusion. He was eager to receive the reward for this task. This was the first time the reward for a realm breakthrough was different from before. No precious treasures were awarded, but instead, the fusion of Taoist energy was improved. Lu Yi guessed that maybe all the Tao treasures and Chaos treasures had already been awarded to him in previous rewards. Next, what Lu Yi needed to do was to digest and absorb all the treasures awarded to him bit by bit. And this process might be very long. After all, Lu Yi had not completely absorbed even a single Tao treasure up to now. After initializing the Great Array, Lu Yi took a deep breath and sat cross-legged in the center of the cultivation room, surrounded by a large number of immortal herbs waving, releasing an incredibly rich immortal spirit qi. He calmed his mind, closed his eyes, and chose to receive the reward. Almost in the blink of an eye, Lu Yi felt as if some inexplicable change had occurred in his inner world. He sent his divine sense over and quickly discovered the situation. The Taoist energy in the inner world was surging continuously, almost turning into fierce winds and terrifying waves, constantly battering the edges of the inner world. During this process, strands of Taoist energy slowly merged into Lu Yi's physical body, beginning to integrate with his body. In this process, Lu Yi felt his whole body warm and his mind ethereal, with vast amounts of mysterious information emerging in his mind. Tao patterns shined with Tao light, flickering in every corner of Lu Yi's body. Lu Yi clearly felt his physical strength increasing at an extremely fast rate, as if there were no limits. Not only his physical strength, but even his divine sense was similarly doubling. Merging with the Taoist energy, the immortal spirit Qi within him gradually transformed, gaining mysterious Tao light. This was different from leveraging Taoist energy through his own abilities to strengthen himself. Now, the force Lu Yi was mobilizing seemed no longer just immortal spirit Qi, but was beginning to change into Taoist energy. This was a power he held within himself, not through external assistance. When the immortal spirit Qi within him completely transformed into Taoist energy, Lu Yi could imagine that his strength might increase several times. After the initial integration, the fusion of Taoist energy with him slowed down, becoming less intense, though it was still many times faster than before. Feeling the Taoist energy within his own body, he predicted that at most in 100 or 200 years, he would be able to transform all the Taoist energy in his inner world for his own use. Even Lu Yi found this speed unbelievable, improbably fast. After all, this was Taoist energy. 100 or 200 years, for an immortal monarch, was merely the time for a sleep or a single cultivation session. Of course, that was for ordinary immortal monarchs. For Lu Yi, 100 or 200 years might also be considered a relatively long time. Perhaps he could achieve another breakthrough by then. Seeing the fusion of Taoist energy had calmed down, continuing slowly in the background, Lu Yi no longer focused on it. After all, it didn't require his direct involvement. He still had many things to do. Comprehending the yin-yang immortal scripture of the immortal monarch, understanding the newly comprehended laws, and so forth, all of these required time. Having just broken through to the immortal monarch realm, he was far from pushing this realm to its limit. Chapter 794, 375. The Jiu demons bursting out of the battlefield 2. Therefore, following that period, Lu Yi embarked on a routine similar to before, engaging in cultivation, entering closed-door retreats, discussing the way with his Dao companions, and performing dual cultivation with Liu Ningxuang and a few others. Time passed peacefully and comfortably. Having originally broken through to the immortal monarch realm, his cultivation speed should have slowed down considerably. However, as the immortal spirit Qi within his body gradually transformed into Taoist energy, which was vastly superior to immortal spirit Qi in all respects, not only fundamentally stronger, but also more efficient in cultivation, his progress did not diminish significantly. Lu Yi's inner world was brimming with Taoist energy. As this energy transformed, it also brought about an increase in cultivation base, ensuring that Lu Yi's cultivation speed did not drop by much. This period went by swiftly, and before he knew it, 100 years had passed. Lu Yi reached the limit in his understanding of the Tao Yin-Yang immortal scripture at the immortal monarch level, and even deduced the immortal king chapter based on the yin-yang origin power, creating his own immortal king technique. This was thanks to the sunburning starfall technique given to him by the residual shadow of the red flame immortal king. Without that immortal king technique as a reference, it would have taken him longer to reach this stage. In addition, the various origin powers he comprehended through the feedback from the Tao and chaos during his tribulation crossing also played a crucial role. Lu Yi blended all the origin powers he had mastered into one and integrated them into the Tao Yin-Yang immortal scripture. Should Lu Yi break through to the immortal king realm and cultivate the immortal king chapter of the Tao Yin-Yang immortal scripture, he would not be cultivating a mere single origin power, but the unified core of Tao origin, the very essence of oneness. Currently in the immortal monarch realm, Lu Yi was not able to achieve this. However, according to his deductions, once he broke through to the immortal king realm and fully merged his inner world with the Tao, enabling Tao origin integration, he would be capable of this feat. When that time truly came, Lu Yi was uncertain of how strong he would become. Apart from the insight and deducing of the Tao Yin-Yang immortal scripture, Lu Yi also made tremendous progress in the integration of Taoist energy. At this moment, more than half of the immortal spirit Qi inside his body had already been transformed into Taoist energy. At this rate, in no more than another 100 years, he would be able to fully convert his immortal spirit Qi into Taoist energy, and his strength would take another leap. Furthermore, during these times, Lu Yi did not neglect research and comprehension in other areas such as alchemy Tao and array Tao, also gaining substantial insights and improvements in these aspects of Tao. One day, as Lu Yi was cultivating, he suddenly sensed a familiar presence arriving outside his cave mansion. He raised an eyebrow and opened his eyes, disappearing from his original spot. Outside the cave mansion, Yu Hangguang had just landed when he saw Lu Yi appear abruptly at the entrance. He was so startled that he took 2 steps back and said with a wry smile, "Lu Yi, you almost scared me to death." When Lu Yi had broken through to the immortal monarch realm, Yu Hangguang was also nearby comprehending the Tao. Naturally, he knew that Lu Yi was now an immortal monarch with staggeringly powerful strength, so he wasn't surprised by his soundless appearance. Yet Lu Yi was somewhat surprised. He looked at Yu Hangguang and laughed. "Brother Hangguang, it's been a long time since I've seen you. What brings you back to Ling Luo Peak all of a sudden?" In recent times, Yu Hangguang, because of his duty, had been busy with the Star Realm Army or the Jiyu battlefield and rarely returned to Ling Luo Peak. Even when he did, he couldn't stay long before departing again. The last time Lu Yi saw Yu Hangguang was almost 50 years ago. Yu Hangguang gave a bitter smile and said, "I'm not like you. You're a great idler who only needs to practice cultivation. I have a lot of duties to attend to. As a direct descendant of the Yu family, I have not just prerogatives but corresponding responsibilities as well." Lu Yi nodded in agreement, understanding this point very well. However, he simply chuckled, "Are you back on leave this time?" Yu Hangguang's expression became more serious, and he shook his head slightly. "No, there's something I need your help with." Seeing Yu Hangguang's serious expression, Lu Yi raised his brows slightly, and the smile on his face faded a bit. He asked with some puzzlement, "What's the matter? Is there something even the Star Realm Army can't handle?" Yu Hangguang gave a bitter smile and then spoke somewhat angrily. "This whole mess is because of the Rashomon clan." "The Rashomon clan?" Lu Yi looked at Yu Hangguang with some confusion. Yu Hangguang nodded. Who knows what exactly happened with the Rashomon clan? One of the Jiyu battlefields within their territory underwent a massive change, and some Jiyu demons actually broke through the seal." "What? The Jiyu demons broke through the seal?" Lu Yi heard this and couldn't help but widen his eyes, his face a picture of shock. After all, there were many Jiyu battlefields scattered throughout the universe, but it was extremely rare for Jiyu demons to break through their seals. To think that it had happened right on the edge of their own star domain. Yu Hangguang sighed. "Indeed, the last time the Jiyu demons broke through the seal must have been tens of millions of years ago. It wasn't near the sky-falling star domain at that time, and all I know is that those Jiyu demons caused turmoil in several star domains, with tens of millions of planets contaminated by Jiyu. In the end, we had no choice but to completely destroy those planets, and the number of lives lost was beyond count." Listening to Yu Hangguang's words, Lu Yi's frown deepened. He asked with some confusion, "What in the world happened with the Rashomon clan for the Jiyu demons to break out of the Jiyu battlefield? Where is the defense army for that region?" Hearing this, Yu Hangguang's expression became quite strange. It is said that the Blood Slaughter Army, which was defending against Jiyu, had a major internal problem that caused significant turmoil. The defense of that Jiyu battlefield was almost completely destroyed. Had the immortal venerable ancestors of the Rashomon clan not arrived in time, that Jiyu battlefield might have been devastated, which would have made the situation even more troublesome. The army defending against Jiyu is in turmoil. Lu Yi was momentarily stunned upon hearing this. Then he thought of the powerful members of the Rashomon clan he encountered in a different space when he went to the Xianxia star domain. At that time, Lu Yi had also sensed the presence of Jiyu. Could those chasing after him have been part of the Rashomon clan's army dealing with Jiyu? Back then, Lu Yi found it strange that the presence of Jiyu had appeared in a different space. Could it be that problems had already emerged at that time? That incident occurred hundreds of years ago. Lu Yi was somewhat speechless inside. After so much time, the Rashomon clan still hadn't resolved their internal issues, even leading to bigger problems. What in the world was going on with the Rashomon clan? Lu Yi felt very troubled, his face growing solemn. Have those Jiyu demons been eradicated? Upon hearing this question, Yu Hangguang let out a bitter laugh. "If they had really been eradicated, I wouldn't have come to you." As expected, Lu Yi sighed internally and asked, "What's the current situation like?" Yu Hangguang fell silent for a moment before sighing. "The situation is not good. At the very least, over 1,000 Jihu demons have escaped the Jihu battlefield. That Jihu battlefield is of the Immortal Monarch realm, and there are even 2 Immortal Monarch realm Jihu demons among them. At this point, Yu Hangguang's lips twitched involuntarily, and Lu Yi felt a heavy weight on his heart. Immortal Monarch level Jihu demons. The Rashomon clan is really damn. Lu Yi felt like cursing. You know about the corrosive abilities of the Jihu demons, Lu Yi. After breaking out of the Jihu battlefield, they scattered in various directions. If we can't completely annihilate them, and even one is left, a vast expanse of starry sky will be corrupted. The part of the sky that was previously destroyed is still in the process of being rebuilt, but has not fully recovered yet. Listening to Yu Hangguang's explanation, Lu Yi nodded and said, "So, are we going to the Rashomon star domain to help the Rashomon clan deal with this?" Understanding the principle that one's own demise is linked to the survival of their neighbors, Lu Yi knew that the sky-falling star domain bordered the Rashomon star domain. If the Rashomon star domain faced a major problem with the Jihu demons, given the speed of Jihu corruption, the sky-falling star domain wouldn't be able to escape unscathed. The best approach was to nip the danger in the bud before it could spread to the sky-falling star domain. Yu Hangguang's mouth twitched violently, and he shook his head. "No, that Jihu battlefield is not far from our sky-falling star domain. Some of the Jihu demons have already charged into our sky-falling star domain. We need to deal with our own problems first." Lu Ye. Damn it. Chapter 795, 376, Jihu Demons of the Immortal Monarch Realm. Chapter 795-376, Jihu Demons of the Immortal Monarch Realm. Lu Yi rubbed his forehead, feeling a bit overwhelmed, and said, "Brother Hangguang, you want me to search for traces of the Jihu demons?" Yu Hangguang nodded. "Yes, the Jihu demons are different from other beings in the universe. Their Jihu Qi is extremely peculiar. Although many cultivators from the Yu family have practiced the fate skill, very few are truly proficient. Ordinary fate skills cannot detect their traces, and there are limited numbers of those who are skilled in the art of fate. Thus manpower is somewhat insufficient." Lu Yi nodded. "Since that's the case, we should not delay. Let's set out now." Yu Hangguang did not expect Lu Yi to agree so readily. Taken aback for a moment, he then quickly nodded and showed a smile. "Good." Lu Yi didn't notify Liu Ningxuang and the others. In fact, having reached the Immortal Monarch realm, and with the immortal spirit Qi inside his body continuously transforming into Taoist energy, even without using the Yin-Yang Tao Seal secret skill, Lu Yi's own strength was terrifyingly formidable. Even when facing a strong opponent in the Immortal Venerable realm, Lu Yi was confident enough to achieve victory. Even against someone like the Yu family ancestor, who had grasped origin power and stood at the peak of the Immortal Venerable rank, he could at least ensure he would not lose. Unwittingly, he had already stood at the very pinnacle of the entire universe. Of course, if there were any immortal kings or immortal emperors who had not perished and were hiding in the dark recesses of the universe, then pretend he hadn't mentioned it. Lu Yi felt a bit emotional. He hadn't expected his own strength to have become so powerful. Yu Hangguang's heavenly boat was suspended in the vacuum of space. Lu Yi followed Yu Hangguang onto the heavenly boat. Besides Yu Hangguang, some other Star Realm army powerhouses were also on board the heavenly boat. Yu Hangguang introduced with a smile, "I am currently one of the deputy commanders of the 8th Legion of the Star Realm Army. These are my subordinates. They are assisting me with the issue of the Jihu demons." When these Star Realm army powerhouses saw Lu Yi, they all saluted respectfully. "Greetings to young Master Lu." Their eyes were filled with both curiosity and admiration when looking at Lu Yi. In just a few thousand years, Lu Yi had broken through from immortal to the Immortal Monarch realm, a feat almost tantamount to legend. This was something the Star Realm army naturally understood as well. And as the strongest legion of the Yu family, they were also aware of the mysterious Tao tide brought about by Lu Yi's breakthroughs, which even helped one of the Yu family's ancestors push past his limits and comprehend origin power. Many high-ranking members of the Star Realm army were practitioners from the Yu family, and they too had benefited from Lu Yi's Tao tide. Moreover, the new military formation used by the Star Realm army was said to have been improved by the very person before them. Those who had used the new Star Realm army formation knew its strength better than anyone. It could be said to have multiplied their overall combat capabilities by several times and significantly reduced their casualty rate. Legend after legend had cultivated a genuine admiration, and respect for Lu Yi in the hearts of the Star Realm soldiers. Lu Yi nodded and smiled as he greeted the members of the Star Realm army. Lu Yi held a great deal of fondness for the Star Realm army, which had always been fighting against the Jiu demons and Heavenly Demon Group and protecting the sky falling star domain. Lu Yi, can you see the fate trajectory of the Jiu demons here? Yu Hangguang inquired. Lu Yi gave Yu Hangguang a speechless look. Brother Hangguang, do you think I'm an immortal emperor? We are so far away from the area where the Jiu demons have appeared. How could I possibly see the fate lines? Let's head to the region where the Jiu demons entered first. Yu Hangguang nodded, all right. He then commanded the Star Realm army to activate the heavenly boat, traversing through various star gates at an extremely fast pace, heading towards the border region. Due to the urgency of the situation, it only took a few days for them to arrive at the border region. As soon as they approached, Lu Yi felt an incredibly dense Jiu Qi. Although it wasn't as strong as in the Jiu battlefield, this was the real universe. Even the Jiu cultivators who had entered the Abyss ruins did not emit such dense Jiu Qi. The air was filled with the intense aura of hundreds of Jiu demons. Lu Yi frowned involuntarily. Is it here? Yu Hangguang nodded, yes. He looked worried. These Jiu demons are different from those we've encountered in the Jiu battlefield. They are very cunning. After entering our star domain, they scattered, and the Jiu Qi also faded a lot. Otherwise, we would have been able to find them. Lu Yi nodded without saying a word, his eyes now revealing mysterious Tao patterns, and his gaze had become different. In Lu Yi's vision, this expanse of starry sky was interwoven with countless fate lines, among which were some profound black lines emanating an eerie aura, which was the Jiu Qi. These fate lines tangled with Jiu Qi extended from the Rashomon star domain and ultimately dispersed into various regions of the sky falling star domain. These fate lines varied in thickness. The thickest one emitted an especially intense Jiu Qi, which even contaminated the adjacent fate lines. Lu Yi narrowed his eyes thoughtfully, deducing that the Jiu demon represented by this fate line had probably reached the Immortal Monarch realm, hadn't it? Lu Yi had previously heard from Yu Hangguang that 2 Immortal Monarch-level Jiu demons had escaped from the Jiu battlefield. He hadn't expected one of them to have arrived in the sky falling star domain. Lu Yi grew more solemn. A Jiu demon at the Immortal Monarch level was definitely no ordinary foe. If it wasn't found soon, the situation could become very serious indeed. Chapter 796, 376, Jiu Demons of the Immortal Monarch Realm 2. Chapter 796, -376, Jiu Demons of the Immortal Monarch Realm /2. Lu Yi immediately made a decision, pointing in the direction of the fate line corresponding to the Jiu demon of the Immortal Monarch realm. That direction is where the Jiu demon in the Immortal Monarch realm is located. Let's confront it first. Upon hearing this, Yu Hangguang's pupils shrank slightly. Did a Jiu demon of the Immortal Monarch realm also come to the sky falling star domain? Those Rashomon deserve to die. The Star Realm army standing nearby similarly showed faces full of anger, grinding their teeth. Lu Yi nodded. Let's find that Jiu demon first, otherwise the situation might become very serious. Yu Hangguang nodded as well, and instructed the Star Realm army to move in the direction Lu Yi had pointed out. Under Lu Yi's guidance, the heavenly boat occasionally changed directions, following the thick, pitch-black fate line. Time passed by, and in the blink of an eye, a week had gone by. They arrived in a vacuum region, and could see a huge star system in the distance. The moment he saw the star system, Lu Yi felt an intensely rich Jiu Qi emanating from it. The Jiu Qi was so intense that not just Lu Yi, but Yu Hangguang and all the Star Realm army soldiers noticed it, their faces changing color rapidly. Is it here? Yu Hangguang looked grim. Does this star system have any life within it? The Star Realm army adjutant pulled out a round disc with various light screens popping up, displaying basic information about the sky falling star domain, including the number of star systems within the domain and the living beings present. Of course, given the vast extent of the sky falling star domain, even the Yu family hadn't completely understood every area, but they had a fairly complete inventory of the main star regions. The Star Realm army adjutant searched the data, and his complexion changed rapidly. This star system is known as the Yuxi star system. It contains several life planets, and one of the species has already made contact with the universe, though they have not yet left their own star system to expand. Upon hearing this, everyone's expression darkened. Lu Yi let out a breath of stale air and said, "Let's go and take a look." The heavenly boat flew quickly toward the star system. Soon, they entered the star system and saw many planets emitting faint traces of Jiu Qi. These planets were desolate, showing no signs of life. However, they quickly noticed life signatures on one of the planets. Lu Yi's gaze pierced the vast distance, landing on the surface of the planet where all the plant trunks had turned pitch black, the leaves gradually darkening as well, with dense Jiu Qi leaking out. The fierce beasts inhabiting this planet had become extremely bloodthirsty, attacking other fierce beasts frantically, with Jiu Qi swirling around them as well. "This place has been corroded by Jiu Qi," Yu Hangguang said with a heavy voice. Lu Yi nodded and was about to speak when suddenly an incredibly terrifying presence burst forth from deep within the star system, a dreadful aura that made Yu Hangguang and the Star Realm army feel a chill in their hearts, as if they were targeted by a fearsome beast, causing their bodies to tremble instinctively. Yu Hangguang's face turned pale as he fiercely turned his head toward the direction of the aura, his teeth gritted with cold anger. "An immortal monarch. It's that Jiu demon in the immortal monarch realm." Lu Yi nodded, his expression very calm. "It has found us and is already on its way here." As soon as Lu Yi's words fell, a vast expanse of pitch-black fog spread from afar, moving at extreme speed. The black fog was boundless, obscuring all vacuums and planets within sight, and even the constant stars deep within the star system were hidden by the black fog, unable to shine their light. At the forefront of the black fog, a figure shrouded in mist moved rapidly closer, with eyes glowing a fierce red, filled with extreme surprise and greed as it stared fixedly in the direction of the heavenly boat. He sensed the greed within the Jiu demon, and he raised an eyebrow, then remembered something. Previously, when he had entered the Jiu battlefield, there was also a humanoid Jiu demon who was very greedy for him, because of the Taoist energy in his body. Now that his immortal spirit Qi had transformed into Taoist energy, his entire being emitted the aura of the Tao, likely even more attractive to Jiu demons than before, right? No wonder this immortal monarch realm, Jiu demon, was rushing over so frantically. Lu Yi's expression was somewhat strange. Then he thought that the Jiu demon at the immortal monarch realm bore some similarity to the humanoid Jiu demon he had encountered before, as they both had human forms. However, his perception told him that this Jiu demon was not the same one he had encountered earlier. That one, with just a projection of its power, had been very strong. Its true body should be even stronger than the immortal monarch realm. Lu Yi speculated in his mind. Subsequently, he transformed into a bubble shadow and vanished from the heavenly boat, appearing in the vacuum ahead of the boat. The Jiu demon was approaching fiercely. If it destroyed the heavenly boat, that would be quite bad. And neither Han Guang of the Yu family, nor the Star Realm army could stop such a being. Facing the wildly ferocious aura of the Jiu demon, Lu Yi was very calm and even leisurely pondered over the problem. As Lu Yi appeared in the vacuum, the Jiu demon grew even more excited. Its blood-red pupils shone brightly. Jiu Qi surged around its body, emitting a strong corrosive scent, along with inexplicable, sinister whispers. "A Tao body, you are mine." Strange, sharp noises came from the mouth of the Jiu demon. Though it could hardly be called language, everyone present understood its meaning immediately. Lu Yi raised his eyebrows and said with a light chuckle, "I am not yours." The Jiu demon extended its huge hand toward Lu Yi, and the sharp cries sounded again. "You cannot resist." With the movement of the Jiu demon, the profound black fog behind it surged and transformed into a colossal hand capable of grasping a planet. The giant hand reached for Lu Yi, and the surrounding space sounded its lament as well. Lu Yi watched the giant hand condense from Jiu Qi, a hint of sharpness in his eyes. The next moment, mysterious Tao light flickered uncertainly in Lu Yi's eyes, then the fire origin surged, and violent flames emerged from nothingness. The entire starry sky seemed to have turned into a storm made of flames, violently rotating, with temperatures surpassing even those of constant stars. The nearby life planets began to melt within this fiery storm, as if they were ice balls. Naturally, the Jiu Qi couldn't withstand such a terrifying firestorm. The giant hand made from Jiu Qi was quickly engulfed, and then, the boundless Jiu Qi seemed to evaporate, becoming thinner and thinner. Feeling the terrifying aura emitted by the firestorm, the Jiu demon of the immortal monarch realm had its Jiu Qi violently pulsate, and its piercing scream grew even more ear-splitting. Origin power. Impossible. How can you comprehend origin power? As it spoke, the aura around its body surged, and its rampant power exploded onto the fiery storm. Under normal circumstances, the strength of Jiu demons of the same level is a bit stronger than that of cultivators. On one hand, the corrosiveness of Jiu Qi is extremely strong, delivering immense power. On the other hand, it's due to various sinister whispers contained inside Jiu Qi, which can disturb cultivators' minds. But these two factors were ineffective against Lu Ye. His Taoist energy was more powerful than Jiu Qi, and the whispers to him were just a bit of noisy interference. His accumulation far exceeded that of an immortal monarch, so naturally, the Jiu demon before him was no match. Even if it unleashed its full power and struck the firestorm, it was still unable to affect the fiery storm in the slightest, like a praying mantis trying to stop a chariot. Perceiving the huge disparity, the Jiu demon's eyes flickered, seemingly in disbelief. Yet it was very decisive. It immediately tore open space, attempting to flee. However, Lu Yi had also comprehended the space law to the degree of the origin. As the Jiu demon tore through space, planning to enter a different space, a violent space storm emerged from the portal. This space storm was something not even an immortal monarch could withstand. As the Jiu demon stepped into it, its foot was instantly shredded by the storm, dissipating as Jiu Qi. It let out a weird, piercing scream. Han Guang, who was inside the distant heavenly boat, turned pale as he fully resisted the scream, and many of the Star Realm army's strongest could not help but cover their ears, their eyes bloodshot and showing signs of madness. For them, even the screams of the Jiu demon were unbearable. Chapter 797, 377 Creator. However, the scream was only momentary before it subsided. The immortal monarch realm Jiu demon was devoured by the fierce flames, and the erupting space storm at the same time, quickly torn into pieces, and finally dissipated as Jiu Qi. When the flames dissipated and space stabilized, everything returned to tranquility, except the surrounding planets had been almost melted by the fiery storm, completely unrecognizable from their original form. Yet the Jiu Qi within the galaxy had not completely dissipated. Lu Yi glanced at the surging Jiu Qi around him. At this moment, with the death of the Jiu demon, the Jiu Qi began to accelerate its spread in all directions. If allowed to spread, the resulting damage would inevitably be enormous. Lu Yi slowly exhaled a breath of stale air, a flash of Tao light in his eyes. The Taoist energy within him circulated, drawing upon the Tao, and mysterious Tao light emerged from the void, spreading in all directions, eventually engulfing all the Jiu Qi. On a distant planet, the plants that had been eroded by the Jiu Qi gradually returned to their original colors, as strands of Jiu Qi rapidly dispersed from them. The creatures which had become violent and bloodthirsty from the Jiu Qi's erosion also calmed down. They wailed and screamed as the Taoist energy forced out the Jiu Qi from them, eventually dissipating it. In a farther region, a planet was filled with ruins. This was a planet that once harbored intelligent beings, and was now completely devastated by the immortal monarch realm Jiu demon, with numerous Jiu cultivators, eroded by Jiu Qi, losing control with the death of the Jiu demon. They wandered dazedly among the ruins until the Taoist energy enveloped the planet, expelling the Jiu Qi from their bodies, and their consciousness gradually recovered. Seeing the surrounding ruins and bodies everywhere, the faces of many creatures displayed confusion, even unable to comprehend what had happened. The Taoist energy came from the void, traversed space, surpassing the speed of light, quickly enveloping the entire galaxy. As the Jiu Qi within the galaxy was consumed, Lu Yi finally allowed the Taoist energy to dissipate. With the disappearance of the Taoist energy, the entire galaxy seemed to return to peace. Lu Yi also let out a soft breath and relaxed. Having dealt with the Jiu Qi, the environment here was also restored to normal. However, Lu Yi glanced at the damaged planet, his gaze flickering slightly. It might be acceptable for uninhabited barren planets, but some star systems harbored living beings, especially since one of them had developed a civilization over many years. Lu Yi hesitated for a moment, then disappeared from the spot. He appeared above the civilized planet, looking down at it. The planet was covered in ruins. The majestic buildings that once spread across the planet had now disappeared amid the disaster. Some of the intelligent beings eroded by the Jiu Qi had regained their senses, but even they appeared dazed and listless. Lu Yi could somewhat understand. This civilization had not yet made contact with the universe, and probably could not comprehend how powerful and terrifying the Jiyu were. To this civilization, this was likely a natural disaster. His eyes flickered with mysterious Tao light, intertwining into a complex rune. The next moment, a green radiance brimming with vitality emerged around him. That was the glow representing life. Lu Yi's power of nature, also during the previous breakthrough feedback, had reached the origin realm, and his resurrection abilities had greatly improved. Moreover, as he was now a powerful figure of the immortal monarch realm, and there wasn't even a single immortal on the planet below, reviving mortals with his current strength, even if reviving all the mortals on a planet would not be a significant drain on him. He pressed his palm downward, and the light filled with the power of life sprinkled onto the entire planet, quickly enveloping it. The intelligent beings, previously like walking corpses, felt the rich vitality. Wounds on their bodies healed at an extremely fast rate. And the bodies lying on the ground, as if by miracle, restored themselves fully. Blood flowed back, broken bodies began to rebuild, and lifeless eyes regained their sparkle. One by one, beings that were supposed to be dead came back to life, stood up. This left those who were still alive, caught in grief and confusion, wide-eyed and astonished. Among this humanoid race, there were also individuals of strength equivalent to the unification realm. They sensed the power fluctuations coming from the sky. The fluctuations were vast and overwhelming, leaving them with no will to resist, the power comparable to that of gods. One after another, these extraordinary individuals were incomparably excited, voicing their race's language, and the numerous beings knelt on the ground, their expressions exceedingly devout, with fervor in their eyes. Lu Yi, with a sweep of his divine sense, could quickly read their thoughts, his expression somewhat amused. These creatures actually considered him a god, a creator of sorts. He found it somewhat humorous, but on reflection, being able to resurrect so many dead, he really wasn't much different from a deity. And for an immortal monarch in the universe, creating a planet, even a star system, was indeed not a big deal, considering he even had an inner world within him. Being called a creator perhaps wasn't an exaggeration after all. Chapter 798, 377, Creator 2. Chapter 798-377, Creator /2. Lu Yi muttered to himself inwardly. It was only when he saw the once dead creatures on this planet coming back to life that Lu Yi stopped manipulating the natural origin. He merely wished to save the creatures that perished under the devastation of the Jiyu demons this time. As for those who died before, Lu Yi did not want to intervene and save them. This was a planet's natural rule, as well as the rule of life and death for creatures. Although he could break this rule, facing an entire civilization, he felt it was better not to. He did not want to interfere with the natural development of a civilization. The reason he resurrected the beings who died under the ravages of the Jiyu demons was solely due to his sympathy. Subsequently, Lu Yi disappeared into the vacuum. At this moment on the heavenly boat, Yu Hangguang and a group from the Star Realm army had just recovered from the screams of the Jiyu demons. Seeing the gradually dissipating Taoist energy, they all looked at each other, somewhat shocked. Yu Hangguang couldn't help but exclaim, "This guy is getting stronger and stronger to be able to clear all the Jiyu Qi in such a range and in such a short time." The members of the Star Realm army nodded in agreement. Soon, they realized that Lu Yi's aura was in a faraway area, and it seemed he was manipulating some power, which puzzled them. Yu Hangguang muttered, "Where did he go? What was he doing?" The others all shook their heads, not understanding. "Should we go find young Master Lu?" asked a powerful member of the Star Realm army. Yu Hangguang hesitated for a moment, then nodded slightly. "Let's go and see. We didn't feel the aura of the Jiyu demons, and we don't know if something unexpected happened." Just as Yu Hangguang was making plans, the space around them twisted slightly, and Lu Yi appeared before them. Seeing the pale faces of Yu Hangguang and the others, Lu Yi was puzzled. "Are you guys okay?" Yu Hangguang shook his head. "It's okay. The final struggle of that Jiyu demon almost overwhelmed us, but thankfully you killed it quickly." Lu Yi suddenly understood and then smiled. "As long as you're fine." Yu Hangguang smiled and then curiously asked, "What were you doing just now? I thought there was some emergency." On hearing this, Lu Yi chuckled. "I just took pity on the civilization in this star system and gave them a hand." The civilization in this star system. Yu Hangguang thought of something and said, "How are they now? With an immortal monarch realm GU demon appearing here, haven't they been exterminated? Luya shook his head. Indeed, many died. Yu Hangguang nodded slightly and sighed. In the universe, disasters are common. As long as they haven't been exterminated and have kept a fire seed, they will eventually rise again. By the way, what did you help them with? Lu Yi smiled. I resurrected the dead people. What? Yu Hangguang and the other members of the Star Realm army all wore baffled faces. Resurrection? What the hell is that? Lu Yi just smiled and didn't elaborate further. All right, let's go find other GU demons. Yu Hangguang and the other powerful members of the Star Realm army came to their senses, their faces showing a strange expression as they looked at Lu Yi, and then nodded as well. After all, dealing with GU demons was the most priority. Returning to the previous area, Lu Yi continued using the Fate skill, following the tracks of Fate, and soon found several GU demons. The strength of these GU demons varied. Some grouped together, while others operated alone. A few GU demons were of the golden immortal realm, but others were only of the true immortal and profound immortal levels. Due to the difference in strength, these GU demons naturally couldn't move as fast as the immortal monarch level GU demon, and with the swift actions of Lu Yi and his companions, they didn't let them get far. Lu Yi and his companions quickly found them, and subsequently eliminated them one by one. Even so, the GU demons inevitably infected many planets and star systems, causing considerable destruction. Under the influence of GU Qi, many planets transformed into dead zones. Any living being they encountered was eroded by the GU Qi, losing their self and becoming ferociously terrifying, strangely aberrant, and many lives perished as a result. When Lu Yi killed the GU demons one by one and cleared the GU Qi, only a small portion of living beings survived. However, Lu Yi still chose to use the natural origin to resurrect the dead beings. As for those whose planets had been destroyed, there was nothing Lu Yi could do. Although he could recreate a planet, the time and effort required were too much. He still needed to continue hunting other GU demons and did not have so much time to dedicate to this task. Yu Hangguang and the powerful members of the Star Realm army finally understood how Lu Yi was resurrecting the beings. Seeing that Lu Yi had mastered the natural origin, Yu Hangguang and his people were dumbstruck. What can he do? Yu Hangguang wondered to himself, baffled. Fire origin, illusion origin, originally thinking that an immortal monarch mastering two origins was already outrageous enough, something that would be considered mythological even in the distant eras, and now there were others. Yu Hangguang felt that Lu Yi was like a black hole, completely opaque as to where his limits lay. Apart from Lu Yi and Yu Hangguang's team of cultivators, the Yu family naturally had other cultivators who were also searching for GU demons. Each team was led by a cultivator skilled in Fate skill. Although their efficiency was much slower compared to Lu Yi, who had mastered the origin of destiny, they still made some gains. But there were also gains. When Lu Yi and Yu Hangguang had just finished killing a GU demon and were planning to continue their search, Lu Yi realized that those originally intact Fate lines were now severed. He naturally understood that quite a few had been killed by other teams. Lu Yi exhaled lightly and chuckled. There should be none left. Hearing this, Yu Hangguang and the constantly tense soldiers of the Star Realm army all paused, after which Yu Hangguang exclaimed with joy, "Gone. All killed." Yes, all the Fate lines of GU demons that departed from here are severed, Lu Yi confirmed while seated. That's great. Yu Hangguang slowly exhaled, recalling the various destroyed planets they had encountered, and turned to Lu Yi with a cupped fist salute. Lu Yi, thank heavens for you, otherwise it definitely wouldn't have been so easy. There was also an immortal monarch realm GU demon. If it weren't for young Master Lu, if we had encountered it, we probably would have been finished, a member of the Star Realm army said with a smile. Having cleared all the GU demons, they also felt much relieved. Yu Hangguang smiled, but soon his expression turned to one of worry. It's just that I don't know how things are over at the Rashomon Star Domain. At those words, Lu Yi also frowned slightly. Ask Uncle Yu. Yu Hangguang nodded. Yes, I'll ask about the situation. Yu Hangguang quickly started operating on the heavenly boat. This heavenly boat was the standard type for the Star Realm army, equipped with the Yu family's unique messaging formation, which could quickly receive messages. Soon, Yu Hangguang's expression changed slightly, and he said, Father says that the situation with the Rashomon clan doesn't seem too good. The unusual Jiyu battlefield there has tied down many of the Rashomon clan's strongest members, and they haven't yet dealt with the Jiyu demons spreading through the star systems. Upon hearing this, Luya's mouth twitched slightly. Before he could speak, Yu Hangguang continued. Father is waiting at the border and says we need to go help the Rashomon clan deal with the Jiyu demons, to prevent any more Jiyu demons from entering our Tianluo star domain. Lu Yi nodded slightly, then thought of something and asked, can the Rashomon clan agree to let us enter their star domain? Yu Hangguang scoffed, they probably don't have much choice. Lu Yi, you've seen the devastation those Jiyu demons caused. If we don't deal with it now and the Jiyu encroachment widens, handling it later will only come at a greater cost. Lu Yi exhaled lightly and nodded, then let's go and see. He was actually very curious about the Jiyu battlefield of the Rashomon star domain. What kind of accident had occurred there that could even allow Jiyu demons to surge out from the battlefield? Perhaps once there, he could find out more about the situation. Chapter 799, 378 Purposeful Actions. Chapter 799, minus 378 Purposeful Actions. Lu Yi and Yu Hangguang, along with others, boarded a heavenly boat, heading for the border region between the Rashomon star domain and the Sky Falling Star domain. In the border region, there were already several heavenly boats waiting. Lu Yi could feel many familiar auras from above. Among them were not a few immortal monarch-level powerhouses, including both Yu Xin and Yu Xianxia. Their heavenly boat joined the main fleet, and both Yu Hangguang and Lu Yi went to the largest and most central heavenly boat to meet with the senior officials of the Yu family. When Yu Xin and others saw Lu Yi, they all smiled. Hangguang told me that it was all thanks to you that we were able to resolve the invasion of the Jiyu demons into the Sky Falling Star domain so quickly. You did a great job, Yu Xin exclaimed. Lu Yi smiled. Uncle Yu is being too polite. It was my duty to do so. Yu Xianxia, who was beside them, chuckled. Let's save the catching up for later. Right now, the most important thing is to hurry to the Rashomon star domain and clean up their mess. Everyone nodded, their expressions growing grave. If that's the case, let's set off. The fleet of heavenly boats turned into streaks of light and disappeared into the void, flying towards the direction of the Rashomon star domain. Afterward, Lu Yi listened to Yu Xin and others' conversation and understood that they had already informed the high officials of the Rashomon clan and planned to go and help. Although the high officials of the Rashomon clan were very reluctant to let the Yu family practitioners enter the Rashomon star domain, they really had no other choice. The unrest caused by the Jiyu demons was still going on and had not subsided, leaving them unable to spare enough people to deal with all the Jiyu demons. With the current forces, even if they found the escaped Jiyu demons, vast swathes of star space had likely already been eroded. The loss was too great. Therefore, they had to allow the Yu family to enter the Rashomon star domain. The heavenly boat traveled through different space for a long time before finally flying out of it. Lu Yi stood by the window and looked around to find that this was a star system that could be described as ruins. The planets that had originally existed in the star system were now shattered into pieces, floating in various areas within the star system. The Jiyu Qi in the star system was also dissipating bit by bit, a fact that Lu Yi keenly noticed. He also noticed that not far away were several ferocious-looking heavenly boats belonging to the Rashomon clan. The Yu family's heavenly boat approached, and then Yu Xin led everyone out of the heavenly boat and flew towards the Rashomon clan's heavenly boats. Outside the Rashomon clan's heavenly boats, some strong members of the Rashomon clan were already waiting. Lu Yi's gaze swept over these Rashomon clan members, recalling the several Rashomon clan cultivators he had met before he became an immortal, as well as the great war that erupted when the Rashomon clan invaded the Tianming star system. In fact, if it weren't for this incident related to the disturbances caused by the Jiyu demons, he couldn't care less about the fate of the Rashomon clan. It was only because if the Jiyu demons were not eradicated in time, they would cause enormous destruction in the future, and by then, even the adjacent Sky Falling Star domain would not be spared. So, Lu Yi had no choice but to come over. The leader of the Rashomon clan was a robust man over 4 meters tall, his presence intense, with a cultivation base that had also reached the immortal monarch realm. Apart from him, all other Rashomon clan cultivators were golden immortals or below, with only one immortal monarch. Lu Yi felt it odd, even among the Yu family practitioners who came to help, there were more immortal monarchs than the hosts. Among the Yu family practitioners who came to help were Yu Xin, Yu Xianxia, and another elder immortal monarch from the Yu family, amounting to 3 in total. He hadn't expected that the Rashomon clan, the rulers of this star domain, would only have 1 immortal monarch present. Not only was Lu Yi astonished, but the other Yu family practitioners also had flashing looks in their eyes. Yu Xin frowned slightly and inquired, "Zhu Han, where are Zhu Wei and the others?" Zhu Han, the immortal monarch of the Rashomon clan, snorted and glanced at the Yu family crowd before speaking. "You are here just to deal with the Jiyu demons, and other matters don't concern you, right?" Yu Xin narrowed his eyes and coldly said, "Our Yu family has brought so many powerful individuals, and you Rashomon clan have only 1 immortal monarch here. Is this how you treat your guests?" Zhu Han felt the cold stares from the Yu family practitioners and fell silent, then said, "Zhu Wei and other clan members are suppressing the Far Cloud battlefield. Zhu Yu took some of the Blood Slaughter army in pursuit of the Jiyu demons. Anything else?" Yu Xin, Yu Xianyan, and the others exchanged glances, and the immortal monarch named Yu Hao from the older generation of the Yu family looked astonished. The Rashomon clan has so many immortal monarchs, and only Zhu Yu is chasing the Jiyu demons. Has your Rashomon clan lost its mind? Zhu Han's face shifted colors and he replied coldly, "If we could spare more people, we would not have agreed to let you enter our Rashomon clan's territory. It seems that the situation in the Jiyu battlefield is more serious than imagined." This thought surfaced in the minds of Lu Yi and the other Yu family practitioners. Otherwise, they wouldn't leave so many Jiyu demons unattended, with the majority of their powerful members stationed at the Jiyu battlefield. Only if the situation at the Jiyu battlefield was so severe that they couldn't suppress it would they deal with it in this manner. Yu Xin and the others were somewhat worried. After all, the Rashomon star domain was adjacent to the Sky Falling Star domain. If the situation in the Jiyu battlefield became too dangerous, or even if the battlefield was breached, the Sky Falling Star domain might also have a hard time escaping unharmed. "Let's go deal with the Jiyu demons first," Yu Xin said. "HMPH, you've wasted time asking some meaningless questions," Zhu Han said slowly. Chapter 800, 378 Purposeful Action 2. Chapter 800-378 Purposeful Action /2. Yu Xin did not engage with him, but looked towards Lu Yi and several strong practitioners from the Yu family beside him. "Begin." Subsequently, Yu Xin, Yu Xianyan, Yu Hao, and the other 3 golden immortal realm practitioners from the Yu family all had surges of immortal spirit qi around their bodies. They were all cultivators who had mastered the fate skill and could sense the movements of the Jiyu demons through it. Seeing this, Lu Yi's eyes also revealed the mysterious Tao light. In the next moment, he saw a large number of fate lines tainted with Jiyu qi in this area. These fate lines extended from behind Rashomon clan members like Zhu Han and radiated in all directions in this area. Lu Yi suddenly realized that the direction behind the Rashomon clan should be the location of the Jiyu battlefield where the incident occurred. In this area, the Jiyu demons had dispersed into various places within the Rashomon star domain. Lu Yi also saw that a portion of the Jiyu demons' fate lines were more concentrated, moving in a specific direction, that of the Sky Falling Star domain. Lu Yi slightly raised his eyebrows, puzzled. These movements of the Jiyu demons, why did they seem so purposeful? After escaping from the Jiyu battlefield, some dispersed within the Rashomon star domain, while others entered the Sky Falling Star domain, seemingly intending to contaminate both star domains at the same time. The Jiyu demons should not be so familiar with the cosmos. How did they know the direction of the Sky Falling Star domain, and then send a portion of the Jiyu demons directly there? Had someone provided them with the direction? Lu Yi immediately thought of the treacherous Blood Slaughter army. It was probably only they who could provide the direction. However, how exactly had the Jiyu demons communicated with the Blood Slaughter army of the Rashomon clan? All sorts of questions arose in Lu Yi's mind, unanswered. He shook his head, deciding to focus on the matter at hand, dealing with the Jiyu demons. He pointed at one of the thickest fate lines and spoke. "Another Jiyu demon at the immortal monarch level is heading in this direction." This caused Yu Xin and the others still operating the fate skill to be taken aback, as their mastery of the destiny law was far inferior to Lu Yi's. To deduce the fate lines required much more time and effort. Even Yu Xin, Yu Xianyan, and Yu Hao, the three immortal monarchs who had a much stronger grasp of the fate skill compared to the other golden immortals, could only see vague revelations of destiny and naturally could not see through the fate lines directly as Lu Yi had. Hearing Lu Yi directly point out the direction of the immortal monarch Jiyu demon, they were all somewhat dumbfounded. Is he done already? This mastery of the fate skill. Yu Xin and the others looked at each other with shock. Yu Hangguang was not proficient in the fate skill, and although he was surprised by Lu Yi's quick identification of directions earlier, he did not deeply understand. Now, as experts proficient in the fate skill, Yu Xin and his peers naturally understood what it meant for Lu Yi to see through the fate lines at a glance, even those at the immortal monarch level. This was no longer something that could be explained by perfection in the destiny law. This was the origin of destiny. Yet another origin. With fire origin, illusion origin, and including the natural origin mentioned when Yu Hangguang contacted them, that's already 3 types of origin power. Now there's even the origin of destiny. This is not the child of the Tao, but the father of the Tao, isn't it? Yu Xin and his peers were numb. They were utterly unable to comprehend why Lu Yi was so terrifying. In the immortal monarch realm, he had already mastered 4 types of origin power. No, given the circumstances, they could not be certain that Lu Yi had mastered only 4 types of origin power. Perhaps he had only shown 4 so far. Maybe there were 5 or even 6 origin powers. How could an immortal monarch achieve this? This is just ridiculous, isn't it? While Yu Xin and his peers were stupefied, Zhu Han and others in the distance were also taken aback, turning their gaze towards Lu Yi. It was only then that they noticed Lu Yi. Previously, Zhu Han and the others had focused their attention on Yu Xin and the immortal monarchs, while Lu Yi's aura was restrained. Even an immortal venerable could not detect his presence, let alone the immortal monarch-level Zhu Han. Unaware of his anomaly, Zhu Han naturally thought Lu Yi was just an ordinary golden immortal. But now, Zhu Han had just realized that the person before him was also an immortal monarch. He had not noticed at all before this. A grave expression appeared in Zhu Han's eyes. This member of the human clan was probably extremely powerful. Since when did the Yu family have such a powerful immortal monarch? During the last great war with the sky-falling star domain, he had never encountered this person. He seemed to have appeared out of thin air. Moreover, it seemed that this immortal monarch also possessed a very powerful fate skill. Even Yu Xin had not seen through the trajectory of destiny, yet he had managed to see through it first. Zhu Han immediately labeled Lu Yi as extremely dangerous and planned to thoroughly investigate Lu Yi's situation later. However, for now, the most important thing, naturally, was the Jiyu demons. He took a deep breath, his eyes gleaming with delight. Which direction did you say that immortal monarch Jiyu demon went? Looking at the eager Zhu Han, Lu Yi nodded slightly. We'll pursue him right now. A cold, murderous intent surfaced on Zhu Han's face. Lu Yi laughed softly. I can only confirm that in this star region he moved in this direction. I can't guarantee he won't change direction midway. How will you track him? Zhu Han was taken aback, then realized that Lu Yi was right. However, being counter-questioned by Lu Yi this way made Zhu Han feel like this Yu family practitioner was mocking him. He gave Lu Yi a cold glance but still managed to suppress his anger and said, "Then you should come with us. It's crucial to deal with the immortal monarch realm Jiyu demon first. Surely you agree with this, don't you?" Lu Yi smiled faintly. "No need, I will go on my own." What? Zhu Han's eyes widened into satisfaction, staring at Lu Yi. Who knows if you can deal with that Jiyu immortal monarch demon? Everyone has seen the strength of the Jiyu demons. Fighting alone, can you claim to be able to kill an opponent of the same level? Hearing Zhu Han's challenge, Yu Xin and the others had strange expressions on their faces as they looked at Zhu Han. Sensing everyone's gazes, Zhu Han frowned and said coldly, "Why are you looking at me like that? Am I wrong? Yu Xin, do you believe you can guarantee to kill an immortal monarch-level Jiyu demon and prevent it from escaping?" Yu Xin laughed lightly. "Indeed, I might have some difficulties, but just because I can't doesn't mean he can't." These words made Zhu Han frown, looking deeply at Lu Yi, recalling the strangeness of not having noticed Lu Yi before and feeling somewhat solemn. Is this person truly so strong? At that moment, Yu Xin added, "Also, the one who killed the Jiyu immortal monarch demon that entered our sky-falling star domain was him, alone." What? Whether it was Zhu Han or the golden immortal realm-ranked Rashomon clan by the side, they were all incredibly shocked and stared wide-eyed at Lu Yi. You should know, once a Jiu demon reaches the immortal monarch realm, its strength is terrifying. Even if an immortal monarch of the same level could defeat it, to kill it would be nearly impossible, as an immortal monarch-level Jiu demon could easily escape. And now there appeared an immortal monarch, capable of killing a Jiu demon of the same level alone. Such strength at the immortal monarch realm was probably among the very top. Zhu Han's eyes as he watched Lu Yi were filled with wariness. Now do you believe that he can kill that Jiu, immortal monarch demon? No way, Zhu Han still refused, frowning as he said, You family members, how do we know that you won't hold back? What if you wait until the Jiu immortal monarch demon has destroyed a large number of star systems before dealing with them? Although he was wary of Lu Yi's strength, as a powerful Rashomon clan immortal monarch, he had to ensure the interests of the Rashomon star domain. He naturally didn't doubt that Lu Yi would kill the Jiu demons, as the demons were a huge threat to the sky falling star domain as well. But before the killing, he couldn't guarantee that Lu Yi wouldn't use the Jiu immortal monarch demon to destroy various star systems within the Rashomon star domain. Lu Yi internally clicked his tongue in annoyance, not pleased with the lack of trust from this fellow. Although Lu Yi didn't like the Rashomon clan, he still wouldn't do such a thing. After all, not all beings in the Rashomon star domain were Rashomon. There were also many other creatures living there. He rolled his eyes helplessly. Fine, follow along then. If it weren't for the consideration that killing this fellow would cause an explosion from the Rashomon clan, and also negatively impact his understanding of the Rashomon clan's Jiu battlefield situation, he might have even wanted to kill this guy. Zhu Han exhaled slightly, nodding, good. Chapter 801, 379, Instinctive Reaction. Chapter 801, Chapter 379, Instinctive Reaction. Board the heavenly boat, Zhu Han looked at Lu Yi and invited him. Lu Yi glanced at the heavenly boat behind Zhu Han, and without hesitation, nodded and flew over. He was not worried that Zhu Han would cause him any harm, for with his current strength, even if an immortal venerable from the Rashomon clan were to appear, they likely would not be his match, let alone an immortal monarch like Zhu Han. Moreover, the Rashomon clan still needed him to find the Jiu demons. The heavenly boat of the Rashomon clan had a ferocious design, decorated predominantly in shades of red and black, with skulls of unknown fierce beasts hanging on the walls, giving off a savage aura. Lu Yi swept his gaze over it briefly, before quickly retracting it. Zhu Han and a part of the Blood Slaughter army followed Lu Yi aboard, while another part remained behind, waiting for other Yu family practitioners to locate the Fate Line, to join them in eliminating the Jiu demons. Let's set off, Lu Yi said calmly. Zhu Han nodded, then instructed his subordinates to activate the heavenly boat, which transformed into a stream of light and disappeared from its original position. Lu Yi, with a flicker of Tao light in his eyes, watched the fate lines of the external world, occasionally guiding the direction. As Lu Yi had mentioned before, the immortal monarch realm Jiu demon had moved for a distance and indeed changed its direction, heading towards another area. After Lu Yi pointed out the direction, Zhu Han's expression dramatically changed, and he gritted his teeth. That's the core area of the Rashomon star domain, where many creatures live. Is the immortal monarch planning to corrupt all beings with Jiu Qi? Hearing this, Lu Yi slightly furrowed his brow and said, In that case, let's speed up the heavenly boat. Zhu Han glanced at Lu Yi, then rushed to the control cabin of the heavenly boat, his angry roar audible to even Lu Yi. Increase the speed. Soon after, the heavenly boat sped up, and before long, Lu Yi felt the dense Jiu Qi approaching from afar. The richness of the Jiu Qi was much more intense than when Lu Yi pursued the Jiu demon in the sky falling star domain. The corrosive actions of this Jiu demon must be quite severe. To this, Lu Yi showed no surprise, as the sky falling star domain had him, who could easily locate the Jiu demon, preventing it from causing trouble outside for long. However, the Rashomon star domain was different. These Rashomon clan cultivators did not cultivate the destiny law. Other secret techniques to find living beings were generally ineffective against Jiu demons, and this Jiu demon had been wreaking havoc outside until now, naturally causing much more damage than the sky falling star domain. Zhu Han also detected the dense Jiu Qi. Standing by the window, he looked at the distant star systems, numerous of which were emitting strands of black mist, all of them Jiu Qi. Several star systems had already been eroded by the Jiu Qi. Zhu Han took a deep breath, his eyes flashing with anger, and he gritted his teeth. Damn Jiu demon. Lu Yi looked at Zhu Han and then, following the fate line of the Jiu demon, pointed towards one of the star systems. That direction. The heavenly boat moved at maximum speed towards the direction Lu Yi had indicated. As they drew closer to the star system, everyone felt the Jiu Qi becoming even denser. Lu Yi, Zhu Han, and the golden immortal level warriors of the Blood Slaughter army were fine, but the practitioners below golden immortal felt a heavy pressure in their chests. Sharp whispers and roars rang in their ears, causing the faces of many Blood Slaughter army soldiers to turn pale with discomfort. Soon, the heavenly boat entered the star system, and both Lu Yi and Zhu Han looked towards the area of constant stars. Outside the constant star, a figure stood. The figure resembled a giant beast, with black Jiu Qi emanating all around, currently spewing vast amounts of Jiu Qi at the constant star. The black Qi surged out like a flood, pouring into the constant star. The constant star, which had been emitting a golden-red glow, was gradually being eroded by the blackness, as if ink were spreading across the surface of the star, with the deep black mist swirling around. This Jiu demon intends to corrupt the constant star. Zhu Han's spiritual energy surged, and the power law erupted violently, bringing with it an incomparably hot blood flare. He then thought of something and looked at Lu Yi. Kid, are you really planning to take action alone? Let me help you. Lu Yi gave him a look and chuckled, then follow along. As he spoke, his body abruptly disappeared from the spot. Zhu Han and other Rashomon clan cultivators were stunned, and then showed expressions of astonishment. Space law, Zhu Han muttered to himself. Immortal monarch practitioners could tear through space, but no way could they integrate completely into the space like Lu Yi. The only possibility was that Lu Yi had mastered the space law. The space law was extremely powerful and rare. Cultivating a high-level space law was even rarer. No wonder he was confident in killing the immortal monarch realm, Jiu demon alone. However, relying solely on space law might not be enough, right? Zhu Han pondered in his heart while simultaneously tearing through space, stepping into it, and swiftly following after him. Lu Yi appeared outside the constant star, very close to the beast-like immortal monarch Jiu demon. The Jiu demon noticed Lu Yi immediately and turned its head to look over. Its crimson eyes seemed to contain the most sinister malice, and the twisted black mist appeared to have wailing souls within it. If a weaker immortal realm cultivator were to make eye contact with this Jiu demon, they would likely be corrupted on the spot. Stronger than the one in the sky falling star domain, huh? Lu Yi was somewhat surprised as he made eye contact with the beast-like Jiu demon. Chapter 802, 379 Instinctive Reaction 2. Chapter 802, Chapter 379 Instinctive Reaction /2. Upon sensing that Lu Yi was a powerful being of the immortal monarch realm, the Jiu demon let out a low growl, with vicious Jiu Qi surging, planning to charge at Lu Yi. Just at that moment, the space near the Jiu demon abruptly shattered, and the violent spatial turbulence wreaked havoc, even seeming to absorb the very vacuum into the spatial fissures. The Jiu demon was no exception, and vanished instantly within the spatial crack. The next moment, with a bang, the spatial fissure erupted with violent Jiu Qi, and a shadow burst forth, which was the Jiu demon. However, it was only for an instant, and the beastly form of the Jiu demon already looked extremely haggard. Its two claws were shattered, and its body was covered with terrifying wounds, from which black liquid dripped, all the while emitting an even denser Jiu Qi. Lu Yi was somewhat surprised. This beastly form of the Jiu demon was indeed much stronger than the humanoid one. He had used space origin, and although he had not used any immortal technique, it was not something a typical immortal monarch could withstand. Was this Jiu demon only injured to this extent? At this moment, the Jiu demon sensed the Taoist energy surging from Lu Yi, and greed and desire appeared in its eyes, its low growl echoing, Taoist energy. The next moment, it disappeared from the spot. However, just for an instant, the Jiu demon reappeared. It materialized not far from Lu Yi, this time with the space around it sealed as though locked in a cage, the Jiu demon firmly bound in place. Vicious Jiu Qi emerged from the Jiu demon's body, yet it was completely unable to move. Lu Yi's expression remained calm, his left hand raised, palm gently closing in, And the next moment, the space in the area where the Jiu demon was located shattered like a mirror, more excessively than before. As the space shattered, so too did the demon's formidable physical body, crumbling alongside it. It didn't even let out a scream before its body was completely shredded by the spatial storm into the most primitive Jiu Qi. This was the space origin immortal skill, Mirror Flower. This was a reward Lu Yi received after killing the immortal monarch realm Jiu demon before. With Lu Yi's current mastery over space origin, coupled with his own comprehension and Taoist energy, he had effortlessly grasped the basics of the skill just by practicing it on the road. Although it had not reached the extreme level, combining space origin with the origin immortal skill, killing an immortal monarch Jiu demon would be a breeze, wouldn't it? If he couldn't kill it instantly, then there was no point for Lu Yi to continue cultivating. Seeing the power of Mirror Flower, Lu Yi was satisfied and smiled, nodding his head, well deserved of being an origin immortal skill. The next moment, he turned his attention to the surging Jiu Qi and slightly furrowed his brows. This part of the star region was almost entirely corrupted. It seemed that he was in for some effort. Lu Yi rubbed his forehead and sighed helplessly. Afterwards, Lu Yi spread his arms, with Taoist energy surging within him, stirring heaven and earth. Mysterious Tao light fell from the void, spreading out from Lu Yi at the center to all directions, whereupon all the Jiu Qi it touched immediately dissolved, disintegrated, and devoured by the Taoist energy. Then the space at the edge crumbled, and Zhu Han finally stepped out from it. Upon seeing the endless Taoist energy emanating from Lu Yi, he froze in place. Wait, what's going on? He hurriedly checked his surroundings, only to discover that the immortal monarch realm Jiu demon was nowhere to be seen. Where was the Jiu demon? He was somewhat bewildered as he looked at Lu Yi's back, feeling the unstoppable aura, and formulated a thought that he himself couldn't believe. The Jiu demon couldn't have died, could it? But how was that possible? After all, it had only been a few breaths since he had torn through space to arrive here. How could he have possibly killed an immortal monarch realm Jiu demon in such a short time? Even among ordinary immortal monarchs, a fight between equals shouldn't be so one-sided, let alone against a Jiu demon. Yet if it wasn't that possibility, Zhu Han truly could not comprehend what else could have made the Jiu demon vanish so suddenly. And the Taoist energy now radiating from Lu Yi provided indirect evidence to the fact. He looked at the anomalies continuously emerging in the void, the mysterious Tao light, and his heart grew increasingly shocked. What was this situation, Taoist energy? An immortal monarch, how could he possibly draw such an exaggerated amount of Taoist energy? Is this really an immortal monarch, not an immortal king? Zhu Han's expression gradually distorted, filled with alarm and fear. How could the Yu family possibly have such a powerful being? Such an existence, even in ancient times, would have been unreasonable, let alone now. Taoist energy had already enveloped Zhu Han, and feeling the rich Tao light in Tao Yun, he involuntarily closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and then fell into contemplation. And the Jiu Qi that corroded regions on the constant star, the Jiu Qi on various planets, the area outside the relic star series, and the Jiu Qi within the entire star region as the Tao light spread, were all bit by bit purified, swallowed up. Time passed in this manner, and after who knows how long, all of the Jiu Qi was purified by the Tao light, returning things to their original state. However, the planets that harbored life had also become desolate and corrupt due to the ravages of the Jiu demons. The corrupted creatures regained their senses, only to find their kin lying dead not far away. For a time, cries and sobs were everywhere. Witnessing that all the Jiu Qi had been absorbed and devoured, Lu Yi ceased channeling the Taoist energy. His gaze swept across the void, piercing through several light years, even tens of light years, and saw the tragedy on each planet. He rubbed his forehead, somewhat helpless, then vanished from the spot and went to each life-bearing planet to begin the resurrection of creatures. Although this was the Rashomon star domain, not the sky-falling star domain, Lu Yi couldn't bear to see these innocent creatures suffer at the hands of the Jiu demons, their lives extinguished. Even Lu Yi couldn't stand by and watch. If they were from the Rashomon clan, Lu Yi might have been too lazy to care about them, but these creatures were not from the Rashomon clan, and after pondering, he simply couldn't bear just watching. While using natural origin to resurrect creatures, he couldn't help but complain inwardly, "I am just too soft-hearted." Only after Lu He had resurrected all the creatures who had perished because of the Jiu demons. Did the Tao light gradually disappear? Lu Yi saw Zhu Han, who was still immersed in comprehending Tao Yun. His mouth twitched slightly, and he was a bit amused. This guy is really carefree, huh? He vanished from the spot and appeared before Zhu Han, expressionlessly saying, "Hey, wake up." The sudden voice of Lu Yi almost scared the soul out of Zhu Han, who was immersed in the Tao. He opened his eyes abruptly, power loss surging, ready to attack. But the next moment, his body was as if restrained by an invisible force, completely immobilized. His pupils contracted, shocked and frightened. What is this thing? Even him, who possessed the power law and an extremely strong physical body, couldn't make even the slightest movement. Such a formidable power. At this moment, Lu Yi's calm voice sounded, "Thinking of attacking me." Hearing Lu Yi's voice, Zhu Han felt his hair stand on end, and he turned to look at Lu Yi, who had a faint smile on his face. But he had a feeling that if he said yes, this member of the human clan in front of him would truly make a move against him, and he would be utterly powerless to resist. Zhu Han was somewhat taken aback as he realized that he, hailed as a once-in-millions-of-years top talent within the Rashomon clan, invincible all the way, breaking through to the immortal monarch, and even holding a sliver of hope to reach the immortal venerate realm in the future, had actually begun to feel fear in his heart. This emotion, Zhu Han initially thought would never appear in himself. But facing this member of the human clan before him, he had to admit that he was indeed a bit afraid. He might even be stronger than the ancestor. This thought unconsciously floated up in Zhu Han's mind, weighing heavily on his heart. Just an immortal monarch, and already so powerful, how strong would he be when he reached the immortal venerate realm? And moreover, could the immortal venerate realm be the end for a being like this? Zhu Han's mind posed the question, and then he pulled at the corners of his mouth, speaking in the gentlest tone. "Fellow Taoist thinks too much. I merely had an instinctive reaction after being startled. Fellow Taoist has eliminated such a great enemy for our Rashomon clan. How could I possibly repay kindness with enmity?" Chapter 803, 380. Chapter 803, 380. Hearing Zhu Han's words, Lu Yi nodded slightly. Without seeing any movement from him, Zhu Han felt he could move again. Retreating a distance, Zhu Han looked at Lu Yi with a heart full of wariness. Too strong. Taking a deep breath and not daring to anger the man before him, he forced as gentle a smile onto his face as possible. "The immortal monarch-level Jiu demon is dead. Should we not search for the other Jiu demons?" Lu Yi glanced at Zhu Han and nodded. "Let's go." Zhu Han sighed in relief and quickly said with a smile, "Good, I will trouble you to lead the way." Lu Yi said nothing more, and turned to fly toward the heavenly boat. Afterward, Lu Yi took the Rashomon clan's heavenly boat back to their prior location. Yu Xin and the others were nowhere to be seen, obviously having found their respective fate lines and started to eliminate the Jiu demons. Lu Yi also continued to search for the direction. One of the Jiu demons had fled and pursued to kill it. With each search and each pursuit, the number of Jiu demons dwindled ever fewer. Until at last, with the death of the final one, Lu Yi and the others met back at the original Kidian. Zhu Han glanced at Yu Xin and the others, and after seeing Lu Yi at the side with a light smile, the corner of his mouth twitched. He took a deep breath and put on a smile. "Thank you all for your help." Those blood-slaughter army soldiers who had not come with Zhu Han were stunned to see such a volatile temperament being so agreeable. Yu Xin and the others were also startled, and then turned to look at Lu Yi beside them, understanding what had transpired. They all felt quite gratified, thinking that Zhu Han had been from the start keeping a grim face and now must have been frightened. Our sky-falling star domain has such a prodigy as Year." Yu Xin said with a light chuckle. "We didn't do this for the Rashomon clan either." But Yu Xin narrowed her eyes and inquired, "What exactly is going on at your Jiu battlefield?" While the Jiu battlefield is located within your Rashomon star domain, the escape of the Jiu demons into our sky-falling star domain means it's no longer just a concern for the Rashomon clan. I hope you can inform us of the situation." Upon hearing this, Zhu Han frowned, instinctively wanting to refuse, but sensing a calm gaze, he startled and twitched his mouth, then took a deep breath and said, "The situation isn't good. The blood-slaughter army, for some unknown reason, has nearly a third of its upper echelons corrupted by the Jiu, and they have rebelled. Caught off guard, this has brought significant losses." Hearing this, whether it was Lu Yi or Yu Xin and the others, All were stunned and incredulous. The Blood Slaughter Army deals with the Jiu demons all year round. How could so many of its upper echelons be corrupted at the same time? Yu Hao questioned in disbelief. Even Lu Yi could hardly believe it. This was preposterous. The Rashomon clan's Blood Slaughter Army was equivalent to the Star Realm Army of the Sky Falling Star domain, and stationed at the Jiu battlefield of the Immortal Monarch level. There must be several or even more than a dozen Immortal Monarch realm powerhouses among their upper echelon. Such powerful beings had been corrupted by a third in such a short time. That was practically a joke. If the Jiu demons were truly that powerful, they wouldn't have been sealed in the Jiu battlefield for so many years. They would have corroded the universe clean long ago. How many immortal monarchs, how many immortal venerables are there in the entire universe? Faced with Yu Hao's questioning, Zhu Han looked uncomfortable, took a deep breath, and suppressing his own frustrated anger, he spoke harshly. It's just like that. We don't understand why they were corrupted at the same time. Had we not been unprepared and caught by surprise, we wouldn't have suffered such a great loss. Hearing this, Yu Hao fell silent, as did Lu Yi and the others. The situation was clearly amiss. Yu Xin pondered for a moment and then said, "We need to go to that Jiu battlefield. The change in the Jiu is also something we need to understand." Yu Xin, Yu Xianxia, and the others were all very worried. If the Jiu battlefield of the Rashomon clan could experience such a terrible situation with corruption, it also meant that the Jiu battlefield within the Sky Falling Star domain could potentially suffer the same fate. If such an event were to occur in the Sky Falling Star domain, their situation might be slightly better than that of the Rashomon clan, given that they had Lu Yi and Elder Yu Cheng, who also wielded the origin power. But the losses would likely be immense, something that the Sky Falling Star domain could not afford. After all, the Immortal Monarch realm powerhouses devoted to guarding the Jiu battlefield were already stretched thin. Zhu Han opened his mouth, hesitated several times, and then exhaled lightly, slowly nodding. "I understand. I need to notify my elder to hear his thoughts on it." "No problem." Zhu Han left swiftly, entering the Rashomon clan's heavenly boat. Before long he flew out. "The elder agrees for you to go. We'll leave right away." Yu Xin nodded, and all the Yu family practitioners boarded their heavenly boat, following the Rashomon clan's heavenly boat toward the Jiu battlefield. Aboard the heavenly boat, the atmosphere was grave, with Yu Xin, Yu Xianxia, Yu Hao, Yu Hangguang, and others all wearing solemn expressions. In a soft voice, Yu Xianxia began. Just what kind of situation could have led to several immortal monarchs guarding the Jiu battlefield being corrupted at the same time? Yu Xin and Yu Hao shook their heads in unison. Then Yu Xin breathed deeply and said, "Let's go have a look before anything else. Also, Han Guang, inform our clan to be vigilant at the Jiu battlefield. We must not follow in the footsteps of the Rashomon clan." Chapter 804, 380, The Destroyed Jiu Battlefield 2. Chapter 804, Chapter 380, The Destroyed Jiu Battlefield /2. Yu Hangguang nodded and turned to leave. Because of the strange corrosion, everyone's mood was very heavy, and no one said much. They just quietly waited as they approached the Jiu battlefield. In a deep, pitch-black vacuum, space twisted and fluctuated as several heavenly boats flew out. They were the heavenly boats of the Rashomon clan and the Sky Falling Star domain. Lu Yi and the others on the heavenly boat, looking out of the window, were all quite astonished. In the distance was a field of ruins, almost several light years in size, filled with rocks, scrap metal, and some broken buildings. In the central area of the ruins was a deep, fierce space fissure, resembling a scar left in the vacuum, much like the Abyss ruins. However, unlike the Abyss ruins, it was much smaller in scale, and from deep within that space fissure, violent battle fluctuations kept emanating. Lu Yi and the others all felt a powerful force of Qi blood, as well as faint Jiu Qi emanating. Yu Xin and the others' faces turned somewhat pale. "Is that the Jiu battlefield? It has been damaged to such an extent." Yu Hao's expression looked very ugly. "With such destruction, can it still hold back the Jiu demons? If the defenses are broken, I fear all the Jiu demons within the Jiu battlefield will burst out," spoke a golden Immortal Realm Yu family practitioner, unable to hold back. "Let's go over and take a look," Yu Xin said gravely. Soon the Rashomon clan's heavenly boat ahead stopped, and Zhu Han and a group of powerful Blood Slaughter Army soldiers flew out. Seeing this, Yu Zin also signaled Lu Yi and the others to leave the heavenly boat and follow Zhu Han and the other Rashomon powerhouses. After the two groups approached each other, Yu Zin said with a stern expression, "Zhu Han, you didn't mention that your Jiu battlefield had become like this." Zhu Han took a deep breath and said, "Although the external seal of the Jiu battlefield has been broken somewhat, the situation is still within a controllable range. With two immortal venerable ancestors from our Rashomon clan here, we will definitely withstand the Jiu demons and reseal the Jiu battlefield." Hearing this, Yu Zin no longer dwelled on it. "Lead the way, let's go and see." Zhu Han nodded, and the group flew toward the fierce fissure. Before long, as they drew closer, the fluctuations emanating from the fissure became clearer, and the particle streams resulting from the collision of immortal spirit Qi spread out like splendid glows in all directions. The violent aura caused cultivators with lower cultivation bases to turn somewhat pale. As they ventured deeper, they arrived at the seal's entrance to the Jiu battlefield. The entrance was heavily guarded by the Blood Slaughter army. Deep inside, a large number of Jiu demons were continuously charging out, and to Lu Yi and the others' astonishment, some of the Blood Slaughter army too. Many of the Blood Slaughter army soldiers, emitting Jiu Qi around them, charged at the entrance alongside Jiu demons, their roars and growls incessant. From deep within the Jiu battlefield, terrifying fluctuations were transmitted, clearly indicating a fierce battle was ongoing. A Rashomon powerhouse clad in blood-colored war armor, who was also an immortal monarch, flew out from among the Blood Slaughter army holding off the Jiu demon charge. He headed toward Zhu Han and the others, his gaze sweeping over Yu Zin and the others, lingering on Lu Yi for a moment, a complex expression flashing in his eyes. When Zhu Han had informed him, he mentioned a tremendously powerful immortal monarch from the Yu family had appeared, even stronger than some immortal venerable level powerhouses, possessing the space origin power. If it hadn't been Zhu Han who spoke, he definitely would not have believed it. It was him. Such a prodigy had appeared in the sky-falling star domain. Why wasn't he one of their Rashomon clan? With complex feelings in his heart, he soon shifted his gaze and spoke, nodding. "Yu Zin, thank you for helping us clear out the demons that escaped from the Jiu battlefield." Yu Zin nodded, then squinting her eyes as she looked deep into the Jiu battlefield, asked, "Is the immortal venerable inside?" The Rashomon immortal monarch nodded with a complicated expression. "The Jiu channel corresponding to this Jiu battlefield has encountered problems, and an immortal venerable level Jiu demon, extremely powerful, has escaped. Our two ancestors are currently dealing with that Jiu demon, and several immortal monarch-level Jiu demons are also inside. Our Rashomon clan's powerhouses are engaged in a fierce battle there." Hearing this, Yu Zin nodded, and just as she was about to speak, suddenly a sharp alarm sounded. The Rashomon immortal monarch's face changed. "They're here." Zhu Han's face darkened too, showing a bit more ferocity. The next moment, Lu Yi and the others saw three immortal monarchs clad in the Blood Slaughter army's war armor and imbued with Jiu Qi, rushing out from behind the Blood Slaughter army and Jiu demons. The aura of these three immortal monarchs surged, their eyes filled with a wild, blood-red color as they charged outward. One of the Blood Slaughter army immortal monarchs, with surging Qi blood power, threw a punch that sent a blood-colored fist light tainted with black mist towards the Blood Slaughter army soldiers who were at the forefront of resisting the Jiu demons. He completely disregarded the fact that these were once his brethren. Just then, a golden-red light shield blocked the blood-colored fist light, and an immortal monarch realm warrior from the Blood Slaughter army flew out from the crowd, roared without saying a word, and charged directly towards the corrupted Blood Slaughter army. Zhu Han and another Rashomon clan immortal monarch also roared repeatedly and charged forward, even leaving Lu Yi and the others aside, totally ignoring them. Everyone. Yu Zin and Yu Xianian exchanged glances, then Yu Xianian spoke in a deep voice, "Let's go help." Yu Xianian and Yu Hao nodded. The situation here was even more dire than they had imagined. Although the Rashomon clan and the sky-falling star domain had opposed each other many times in large and small wars, facing the unexpected circumstances of the Jiu battlefield, they had no choice but to join forces. Lu Yi glanced at the surrounding Jiu demons, frowned in thought for a moment, and then said, "Uncle Yu, I'll go check inside the Jiu battlefield." Hearing this, Yu Zin and the others were stunned. "Wouldn't that be too dangerous?" Yu Xianian expressed her concern. Lu Yi smiled. "Aunt Yu should be aware of my strength. If there really is danger, I will escape. The battle inside the GU battlefield seems intense. If we can eliminate both the immortal venerable level GU demons and other immortal monarch GU demons inside, perhaps the turmoil here could be calmed. After hearing this, Yu Xin and the others fell silent for a moment, and then Yu Xin spoke seriously. Then you go. If you encounter danger, be sure to withdraw immediately and not act recklessly. I understand, don't worry, Uncle Yu, Lu Yi said with a smile, nodding. The space around Lu Yi rippled like water, engulfing his body. Meanwhile, at the distant entrance of the GU battlefield, the fierce battle had not ceased, yet no one noticed that someone had already entered the battlefield. As Lu Yi vanished, Yu Xin said to Yu Xianian and Yu Hao, "Let's take action." At this point he thought of something, then looked at Yu Hangguang and others. "You guys don't need to take action, just stay back and be careful." In a battlefield of this level, even golden immortals were at risk. As long as the corrupted Blood Slaughter army was defeated, the other GU demons and Blood Slaughter army wouldn't pose much of a problem, even if Yu Hangguang and others didn't join the battle. Yes, Yu Hangguang and the others nodded in response. Then Yu Xin and the two others turned into streaks of light and charged toward the immortal monarch-level battlefield. Inside the GU battlefield, far behind the vast armies of GU demons and the corrupted Blood Slaughter army, violent fluctuations of battle erupted intermittently, thunderous noises filling the air. The area was filled with chaotic flows of spiritual energy, and the space itself, under such force, showed numerous cracks. This area was a battlefield of immortal monarch strongholds, featuring Rashomon clan's immortal monarchs as well as immortal monarch-level GU demons. On another side, even more intense battle fluctuations burst forth intermittently. In that region, two Rashomon clan immortal venerables were jointly confronting a weird human-shaped GU demon with 3 heads, an upright torso, and 3 pairs of arms. This tri-headed, 6-armed human-shaped GU demon's aura was extremely terrifying, and its strength was equally formidable. Even surrounded and attacked by 2 immortal venerable level Rashomon fighters, it still displayed great power and was not at a disadvantage, fighting back and forth. The facial expressions of the 2 Rashomon clan immortal venerables darkened as the intense clash continued, their mood growing increasingly solemn. This GU demon was too strong. Even together they could only match it, let alone defeat it. How could such a GU demon be dealt with? Just then the space nearby twisted, and Lu Yi stepped out, his gaze calm as it swept across the surroundings and settled on the tri-headed, 6-armed GU demon. Chapter 805, 381. The mastermind behind it all is actually Lu Yi. Chapter 805, Chapter 381. The mastermind behind it all is actually Lu Yi. Lu Yi's sudden appearance naturally also caught the attention of the 2 Rashomon clan immortal venerables and the 3-headed 6-armed GU evil demon. All 3 immortal venerables looked over. The surprise of the 2 Rashomon clan immortal venerables upon seeing Lu Yi, the GU evil demon's crimson eyes flashed a trace of shock, which then turned entirely into greed. It even spoke in human tongue, its voice hoarse. "Such rich Taoist energy. You are no ordinary one." The GU evil demon venerable abandoned the 2 Rashomon clan immortal venerables and dashed straight towards Lu Yi, with GU Qi surging around him, his aura stronger than when he had been fighting them. The pupils of the 2 Rashomon clan immortal venerables constricted, somewhat astounded. What's going on? Has the GU evil demon gone mad? The 2 Rashomon clan immortal venerables were aware of cultivators from the sky falling star domain coming for support, so they were not surprised by the presence of a human clan cultivator. However, what they had never anticipated was that this human clan cultivator, clearly only an immortal monarch, would cause such an abnormal reaction from this GU evil demon. This was incredible. Lu Yi, feeling the oppressive force emanating from the GU evil demon venerable, narrowed his eyes, and in the next moment, he reached out his hand towards the GU evil demon. The Origin Immortal Skill Mirror Flower activated, and the space around the 3-headed 6-armed GU evil demon solidified as if it were a mirror. Feeling the immense threat, the GU evil demon roared lowly, and cracks began to appear on the surrounding mirrored space. This surprised Lu Yi somewhat. The strength displayed by this GU evil demon venerable was extraordinary. Or rather, there might be some issues with the GU evil demon venerable himself. Otherwise, it would be unlikely for an accident to occur in the Jiu battlefield. Taoist energy surged within his body, leveraging the power of the Tao to enhance the operation of the Origin Immortal skill. The previously cracked mirror restored itself, trapping the Jiu evil demon venerable within it. No matter how the Jiu evil demon venerable exerted force, the space merely vibrated continuously but showed no signs of breaking. This scene nearly made the eyes of the two Rashomon clan immortal venerables pop out. They widened their eyes in disbelief, staring at Lu Yi in the distance, and exclaimed in astonishment. How is this possible? That's an immortal venerable level Jiu evil demon, and it's been restrained by this junior. What's up with this human immortal monarch? The two immortal venerable level powerhouses, having battled the Jiu evil demon venerable for hundreds of rounds, naturally knew how strong this immortal venerable was. Even their combined efforts couldn't suppress such a powerhouse. Yet now, this powerhouse had been suppressed by a human belonging to the immortal monarch realm. Could this get any more absurd? The two exchanged glances, both showing shocked expressions. The next moment, they snapped out of their daze and rushed towards the Jiu evil demon venerable. One of them, an exceptionally tall Rashomon clan elder, about 5 meters high, roared, "Human young friend, keep him under control. We are coming to help you. Let's kill this Jiu evil demon." However, just then Luya's voice rang out, "Wait a moment, you two." Hearing Luya's voice, the two Rashomon clan elders paused. Although somewhat displeased, they still stopped. Luya's strength was formidable, and even the Rashomon clan's immortal venerables couldn't help but respect such a powerful figure. The two frowned, looking at Luya. One of the Rashomon clan immortal venerables spoke, "Young friend, why do you ask us to stop? This opportunity is rare. If we don't kill this Jiu evil demon now, it might be troublesome if it breaks free later." Luya glanced at the two Rashomon clan immortal venerables and chuckled. "Aren't you curious why the Jiu channel underwent anomalies? Why a Jiu evil demon of the immortal venerate realm appeared? Are you not curious how so many of your blood slaughter army immortal monarchs got corrupted simultaneously?" Hearing this, the pupils of the two Rashomon clan elders constricted again, and they no longer objected. They watched vigilantly at the still struggling Jiu evil demon and slowly asked, "Young friend, what do you propose?" Luya smiled, looking at the Jiu evil demon venerable, and asked, "Did the abnormalities in the Jiu channel this time happen because of you?" Upon hearing this, the three-headed six-armed Jiu evil demon stopped struggling, its crimson eyes intently staring at Lu Yi, and slowly said, "I didn't expect there to be such a powerful being in the real universe, one who has mastered the origin power. No wonder. Your breakthrough must have caused fluctuations in the Tao, right?" Hearing the Jiu evil demon's words, Luya's pupils slightly constricted. He had intended to gauge something from the Jiu evil demon's reactions, but to his surprise, the Jiu evil demon knew about the Tao fluctuations caused by his breakthrough. How did it know? Logically, this Jiu evil demon should not have been in the Jiu battlefield before this anomaly, and even if it were in the Jiu battlefield, the battlefield hadn't been damaged at that time. How did it get the news? Could it be that the corrupted, immortal monarchs of the Rashomon clan told it? But the Tao tide caused by Luya's breakthrough happened in Jade Star, and Jade Star had always been blocking information about this. Presumably, the Rashomon clan should not know about the Tao tide, much less that it was caused by his breakthrough. Otherwise, Zuhan wouldn't have been so shocked earlier. If even the corrupted blood slaughter army did not know, this Jiu evil demon logically should be even less likely to know. He immediately frowned, slowly asking, "How do you know this?" "Ha ha ha, how do I know? The movements of the real universe have their impacts in Jiu as well. Indeed, how could you possibly know? But I must thank you. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't be able to awaken yet." Chapter 806, 381. The mastermind behind it all is actually Luya too. Chapter 806, Chapter 381. The mastermind behind it all is actually Luya 2. Hearing this, Luya's heart sank as he stared intently at the three-headed, six-armed Jiu demon before him, which seemed similar to the special Jiu demon he had encountered in the sky falling star domain before. Perhaps it was one of the stronger among the Jiu demons. The Tao tide brought about by his breakthrough could actually awaken a Jiu demon. Why awaken? Had this Jiu demon been asleep before? Luya's mind was flooded with thoughts, and the two Rashomon clan immortal venerables nearby, who heard their conversation, flickered their gazes with astonishment in their eyes. Even though they had lived for billions of years, they had never heard that happenings in the real universe could also affect Jiu. And what was with this immortal monarch? His breakthrough could actually cause fluctuations in the Tao. This Jiu demon, it was because of him that he had revived. Thinking of this, the faces of the two elder ancestors of the Rashomon clan darkened, and anger burned in their hearts. So, was he the main culprit behind the anomalies that occurred in the Jiu battlefield this time? The two clenched their fists and stared dead at Lu Yi, a cold glint flashing in their eyes. Lu Yi noticed the gaze of the two Rashomon clan ancestors and glanced at them, unbothered. Yet he continued to regard the Jiu demon and slowly said, "What exactly are you? Among the Jiu demons, you must also be a strong one, right?" At these words, the Jiu demon let out a raspy chuckle, its hoarse voice carrying a sinister whisper that rang in the ears of the three. "What I am, you will know eventually. Enjoy the present, for it won't be long before the real universe is devoured by Jiu, and this time no one can stop it, not even them." During its speech, the Jiu Qi surged around the Jiu demon, and the pitch-black mist transformed into ferocious waves, spreading in all directions. Then, a terrifying fluctuation erupted, almost instantly breaking through the spatial blockade. Boom! The violent power radiated at an extremely fast pace, catching even the two Rashomon clan elders off guard. Just as the two of them were shock-stricken, planning to fully resist the eruption, they felt as though the space around them was being sliced off, taking them along with it as this piece of space moved. Apart from them, a Rashomon clan immortal monarch fighting nearby was also moved along with the space, disappearing from the spot. Only the Jiu demon that was fighting the Rashomon clan immortal monarch remained in its place, swallowed by the violent fluctuations of power. The next moment, Lu Yi appeared outside the Jiu battlefield, along with the Rashomon clan's two immortal venerables and the immortal monarch. As Lu Yi and the others appeared, all the powerful beings of the Rashomon clan were taken aback, somewhat slow to react. Zhu Han and Yu Xin were engaged in fierce battle with the corrupted blood slaughter army immortal monarchs when they saw Lu Yi and his group. They, too, were somewhat astonished. Zhu Han was about to speak when suddenly, the hair on everyone's back stood up, instinctively retreating as they looked in terror toward the direction of the Jiu battlefield. The next moment, a force powerful enough to shatter space itself burst from the entrance of the Jiu battlefield, devouring numerous Jiu demons and corrupted members of the blood slaughter army, like a spatial tsunami rushing toward the army. The two Rashomon clan immortal venerables had no time to think further. They roared, "Block this force." Taking the lead, the two rushed to the entrance of the Jiu battlefield, their full power erupting into a shield made of blood qi, positioning it at the entrance. Boom! The tide surged, hitting the blood qi shield, which quivered violently like ripples on water, and the faces of the two Rashomon clan immortal venerables turned pale as they grunted lowly. The other Rashomon clan immortal monarchs responded in that moment too, stepping forward, their power surging, aiding the two elder ancestors in resisting the power tide. With nearly 10 Rashomon clan immortal monarchs at work, the blood qi shield finally stabilized a bit, no longer violently fluctuating. The force of the tide lasted for several waves before it began to weaken continuously, and the blood qi shield became incredibly stable. Before long, the power tide had completely calmed down, and the powerful beings of the Rashomon clan finally breathed a sigh of relief. The dark Jiu qi gradually dissipated, revealing the state of the interior of the Jiu battlefield, which was now desolate. All the Jiu demons and corrupted members of the blood slaughter army who had been constantly surging outward had now completely vanished. Had the three corrupted blood slaughter army immortal monarchs. A look of lingering fear appeared in the eyes of the powerful beings of the Rashomon clan. Even those behind him, like Yu Xin and others, were somewhat dismayed. Yu Xin looked at Lu Yi beside her, her expression quite strange. "Year, what exactly did you do inside?" Lu Yi was actually at a loss for words. Who could have anticipated that the Jiu evil demon venerable immortal, so powerful, would decide to self-destruct so resolutely and cleanly? However, Lu Yi soon felt that this was normal. Considering the situation of the Jiu demons, the one with 3 heads and 6 arms was probably just a power avatar, and even if it self-destructed, it wouldn't affect his true form in the slightest. Was this meant to serve as a stark warning to him? Lu Yi narrowed his eyes, a trace of sharpness flashing through them. Yet he was also worried. How powerful must the true form be if even its avatar was this formidable? The immortal king is foundational. No, it's very likely at the level of an immortal emperor. An awakened Jiu demon of the immortal emperor level. Lu Yu felt incredibly heavy-hearted. With such a powerful being, how could they resist? He kept his concern to himself, and seeing Yu Xin and the others looking at him with faces full of uncertainty, he smiled and recounted the earlier events. Listening to Lu Yu's account, the faces of Yu Xin and the others changed repeatedly. When Lu Yu finished, all of them fell silent, the atmosphere extremely solemn. The Jiu demons inside the Jiu battlefield, all being avatars, and even the avatars possessing such formidable power. That Jiu demon's true form must be the most powerful Jiu demon I've ever seen, Yu Xin inwardly sighed. The likes of Yu Xianxia, beside, nodded in agreement. Yu Hao sighed, troublesome times. Now we can only hope that no bigger problems occur with the Jiu channel, and that it can withstand that Jiu demon's true form. As he said this, even Yu Hao himself lacked confidence. After all, the problem with the Jiu battlefield on the Rashomon clan's side this time was due to a major issue with the Jiu channel, allowing such a monster to emerge. Yu Xianxia pondered for a moment, then slightly smiled and said, "We probably don't need to worry too much now. I suspect that the awakened Jiu demon can't break through the Jiu channel so quickly. Otherwise, he would have come in his true form instead of sending an immortal venerable power avatar. I guess that Jiu demon has just awakened and hasn't fully recovered his strength." Hearing this, Lu Yi and the others brightened up. Exactly, the Jiu demon mentioned that it wouldn't be long before Jiu devours the real universe, but he didn't say now. This means he needs some time to recover. Yu Xin spoke, her expression visibly improving. "We still have time," Lu Yi sighed in relief, his heart feeling both fortunate and worried. He hoped there would be more time, enough for him to break through to the immortal emperor, or at the very least, to the immortal king realm. With his current rate of absorbing Taoist energy, once he breaks through to immortal venerable, he should be able to completely absorb the Taoist energy, and then, upon reaching the immortal king realm, he should be able to start absorbing chaos qi. By then, with his strength in absorbing chaos qi, facing a Jiu demon at the immortal emperor level, he might stand a chance. If that was the case, then there was still hope. Yu Xin and the others around him harbored similar thoughts, all looking towards Lu Yi. "We hope you can break through soon, Year." It might appear that, as elders, they seemed helpless in placing the burden on Lu Yi, but they truly had no other option. Now, Year is the only hope for saving the real universe, Yu Xianxia sighed. Yu Hao caught on to something, his expression changing. "Wait. According to that Jiu demon, the Tao tide caused by Year's breakthrough awakened him, so if Year breaks through again, I wonder if it will accelerate the Jiu demon's recovery." For a moment, everyone was somewhat speechless.